right, we'll just go around the room here and then we'll go online with everybody that's here right now.
Megan Burns, web administrator.
Mike Hall, president of Magip.
Oh, Aaron Vaughn, secretary.
Jason Dennison, technical committee. Jeff Hedstrom, past president. Mike Item, membership development committee chair. Nate Wold, treasurer.
Jeff Sprack, vice president.
Go ahead, Rob.
I'm trying to find Rob All, chair of the Grants and Scholarships Committee.
Stacy.
Casey Swanton, Broadwater County. I'm just a guest wanting to learn more.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Eric.
Eric Spangenberg with Lewis and Clark County and City of Helena GIS. I'm the professional GIS representative from the MLIAC, Montana Land Information Council.
Okay, and do we have anybody else online?
Bobby was too.
Bobby.
Should let him send in a chat or something.
Yeah, she put something in the chat. When Mike doesn't work, Bobby Johnson. Oh, Billy Speedy.
Yeah, she had one of the web apps, right? For
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Well, welcome, Bobby. Appreciate you being here. Did everybody get a chance to read the minutes? Aaron got it done quite early this month. It's quite nice. If there are no discussion on the minutes, I'd like a motion to pass them.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes in December. Sorry. And I'll second that.
A second. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, the minutes have passed. All right, first order of business. Because my computer's not working, I can't get access to half my stuff. I'd like to talk about the membership fees and hopefully we can move forward with this. I sent a letter out before December or the end of December. The only feedback I got was from Jason, which I appreciate heavily. I did print that out. Did anybody have any comments initially right now?
You want us to pull some up on the drive or?
That might be on there. Yeah, it might be on the drive. If it is, it'd probably be in miscellaneous. Or no, maybe I think I put it on task force.
Yeah, I think it's under letter to
Yeah, that's probably it.
So I did create an edited version of that. It's a separate.
Okay, good.
So I didn't edit.
No, I appreciate that. I do. I never got around to back to ask you or bring up some of your points and stuff. The only thing I remember about your comments, to be honest with you, is that you were wondering why I was doing the end of the year review type of thing with it. The reason why is when I was starting to write this up, I just, for some reason, started thinking about, well, this is the end of the year, when it'd be a good idea to do an end of review to the membership of how we were doing things for the year. So I was just trying to tie that all together. Do we need that? Absolutely not. It was just something I had. I started writing down. So, and again, this was just like the letter that I wrote for the legislation thing, which I want to thank everybody for contributing to that.
I mean, I think it's obviously now that 2022 has ended, probably changed the beginning part of it, but I mean, I think it's a nice review of what occurred last year.
So Mike, did you read the letter? You read the letter that or the note? Yeah, I know you can't access it. I wonder if we can drive. If you approve of it, or if you thought it was fine, then maybe I'll have you guys pull that up because there's
absolutely. Let's bring that up. Yeah. I thought I printed that out.
Yeah, it's just edited. It's right above that.
Yeah. But we got the time, so.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I want to get this, we need to move this forward a bit, so.
All right, so, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Jason. If you
Well,
want
I,
to jump in.
yeah, no, I just read your letter. Mike thought it was great, and then I just made some edits that,
Multiple's
no,
fine.
that there's some links that we could include and then, also clarify just a couple things in there so that folks are aware of, the specific increases, and as well as links to, because we referenced the task force that ultimately, helped make this decision. We could include that letter as well that shows their support.
Oh, I have a link off of this.
Absolutely, I think that's important. Eric? Yeah, so I don't know if we want to just read through it, see if it reads well, and then approve this, or if we want to compare. I don't know what you're thinking, Mike.
I I really appreciate you doing all that and making the edits that you did. I'm not a person that writes letters formally. So, I mean, this certainly looks good. With this. You think we should include that?
Yeah, that
Yeah, that'd probably be
just
good.
just that the community understands that.
Yep, I like that. And that's on the Google Drive too, but. That would be under the, that was, it's under task force. I can't remember where that went. It might be somewhere else. I might have to grab that. I have that on my. Okay. Anybody got any thoughts? Comments?
Did anyone else?
Anybody else look at the letter?
I didn't. I don't think I did.
It's one of those things around the holiday, probably just dropped off my inbox.
Yeah, I don't know. I spent a little bit of time on this, Mike, and I don't know. if it's-
I like it. I like it a lot. To go along with this though, so we did have the spreadsheet that Michelle, is that on here? Is that one of these?
Spreadsheet for what?
That described what our plans were?
So, okay, so if we're wanting to go March 1st this year.
Right, that's kind of where I'm leaning.
Are we gonna prorate everything else those that came in?
And I talked about this with Michelle too. And when you mean prorate, now right now she's got things locked up.
Okay,
So there is nobody paying membership fees now. I told her to freeze everybody. And then we were gonna go 3 more months back.
well, because here's an example, because if say you renewed your membership, last month or whatever, and now you get another bill come March 1st. Like, why should you have to pay for an entire year again, even though you just renewed in November?
No, exactly. That's what I was saying.
But prorate that essentially.
Well, what we were gonna do. The idea was that, we were freezing the memberships now, and then we're gonna go 3 months further back. So I think that puts it like October.
Okay.
And those people would be fine. I mean, for what they pay, if they've already put in their membership, they're good.
Okay.
And they would be good until.
Until the next March 1st, then they pay the full rate. There is gonna be a little gap between. Like June and July or August, I think Michelle had it where there was only like 40 people. Like, where that is.
So they essentially would have to pay again.
Right, there wasn't many, so it felt like it was the least path, or the path of least resistance. For that.
or opt to let it ride, right? Like we had that option as well. We
Yeah,
trying to find the old emails to where, I mean. Try to find this, but I think. The other idea, I think, Michelle, you guys had come up with the numbers and there were some that obviously. Would be affected more than others, but also we were trying to figure out, I think there was like an $800 difference if we just comped them, essentially just
right.
like
Yeah.
overall.
And it wasn't that, it wasn't.
And ultimately with our existing budget, like that's not really a big deal.
Right.
As long as we, so, but I don't know what Michelle,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Can't remember.
I know, it's gotta be in Google Drive somewhere. I must have put it in there
Is this the export from the website?
for that email.
No, Michelle had some,
I sent that email. When I sent that email at the end of December, I had that attached.
yep, you did.
Pretty sure. So it was the end of December.
In that membership analysis.
No, that's too technical. It'd probably be in miscellaneous if anything. It's under board documents. Then try miscellaneous.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great overview of what's expected and.
Yeah, and I don't know if Michelle put it out here or not, to be honest with you.
Wasn't a proposed plan, was it?
I need that email, so
Yeah, I'm trying to find it, Mike.
I'm sorry.
Did you list out like two different options? Is that what?
Well, I did, because we talked about the other option was going to July, with a July 1 or June 1, whenever the start of our year starts. And I didn't know if I liked that idea because that was just gonna mess up the conference, whole bit with the conference and everything.
Membership analysis? That's got it.
Where's that at? Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, so that's in the task force file there. Go back to the task force, there's a membership analysis.
Yep, right there. Task force. Go ahead, Rob.
Okay. I just, it's a little hard to hear everything going on, but I understand that. I just wanted to confirm, is our position currently that we want to do a single date for the renewals?
That's it. Yeah, well, that's one of the questions, or we just leave everything as is, and do it as, as they get hired on.
Well, I mean, I was just reading that letter that you had up. You don't have to go back to it, but you had a letter up earlier and it kind of laid it out for the March 1st renewal. And, I was actually pleased to see that. I'm glad we made a decision along those lines and are pushing it forward.
Well, that's kind of where we're at today. We need to make that decision today.
Yeah, I think we've already made the decision to go with the single date. Now it's just whether or not we want March 1st.
Yeah, or what the
are we
date
gonna-
actually is.
Yeah, and then what are we gonna do with the members that just signed up or renewed in the last 3 months?
Right, and like I said, I told Michelle to freeze everything at the end of December, so those are all frozen. And then we were gonna go 3 more months back, so I think that's October. So anybody that's kind of what this is showing here, 52 members. All these people, they've already paid. So they're gonna be, all these people on the September 1 to December 31st, they've already paid their memberships. We're just gonna let them go until next year, March 1st. Then there's the January to March people, we've locked them up. So they're not renewing, they're not gonna renew until March 1st. And they're gonna get the new date now. So they've had an extra few months of deal for the last payment, the last fee. You got any questions there, Mike? Are you looking confused?
Oh, I'm just thinking.
So one thing I'm thinking about, and I'll just throw it out there, let me know if you think it's silly or not, but I like the idea of pushing it forward, being firm on the date and all that business. I understand there might be some pushback. To address that, I wonder, and this is the idea here, we just say, this is how it's gonna be, this is what we're doing. If that creates a hardship for a member, and it's possible that it might, we could do something like a request for assistance, and we will cover the prorated portion.
We could do that, I guess.
You know, then it's up to them to decide if it's really worth their while to make a fuss over a couple of dollars. And if it is, we'll take care of it. And then we're
Counter to
clean.
that,
Then we start fresh.
Go ahead,
counter to
Eric.
that, Rob, what I would propose if we go along that line of thought is that if the raise, if they're getting caught and that additional increase in the dues and their budget doesn't allow that, we just say, well, for this time period, pay your normal dues, just knowing that next year you need to plan for the full amount, you know, versus us covering that type of thing, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that, Eric. But at the end here of this little spreadsheet, and I'm hoping everybody online can see this. The April and August total membership was only 37. There wasn't many people during that time that have to renew.
Yeah, it's
So
gonna be.
this was the group that we were, you know, what are we doing here with these guys? Yeah, and that was it. Everybody else was basically going to be covered.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good summary of it. And of course, your biggest impact are the organization memberships.
Right.
And the majority of them, well, so it's about 50-50 of the ones that have kind of came in at the right minute.
Yeah, right. And, you know, this
and
is it.
ones coming in
Right.
on board shortly that we're freezing.
Right.
March 1st.
All this is that it's just, we're dealing with this for 1 year. After this year, everybody should be back on the same cycle. I mean, granted, it's gonna be one fee at one date,
Yeah.
March 1st.
Well, and most people, and this is why I like March 1st, most people will then choose to register all of their organization members to the conference at that. point.
Exactly.
Well,
Well,
so
so some ideas with that too. Yeah, right. It'll make it easier for us to determine, you know, do some analysis as well with that. Yes.
I think from a budgeting standpoint, you know, having a single date is a lot easier for us to figure out year to year.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree totally.
And then if anybody comes in at like September or whatnot, you know, they pay the full rate.
Yeah,
So
no,
it's-
absolutely. That's just the way it is.
if you come in February 28th, you pay the full rate, you might as well just wait till the next day, so.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
So just to clarify,
Yeah,
if somebody becomes a member in December or.
Yeah, you pay the full rate.
Yeah. I think that's just the way it's, yeah. 'Cause we can't sit there and, because then we say, okay, they paid in December $50. And then we're not gonna give them the extra few months and then wrap them around to the next.
Yeah.
That's just gonna get, then we might as well just stick with, when you're hired, that's when you're paying.
Yeah, because then you're prorating everyone. It's like even if you join, you know, April 30th, well, does that deserve a prorate? You know, it's after the conference, you know, so. My opinion is no. Does not, so they would pay the full rate even if it's.
I think
6
ultimately,
months later.
I think somebody would probably elect to potentially not become a member then.
Yeah, until March 1st, which is fine. Yeah, then you get the full benefits.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would think that would be, yeah, it's like, yeah, we just tell them, look, you're paying now, that's great, you know, you're gonna pay again on March 1st. You may wanna wait. To get in.
Yeah.
That might constitute a letter that we may have to have that.
Well, I think when you sign up, we can have specific language in, on that web page where you join Magip that this membership is from March 1st through February 28th, and it's no matter what day you sign up, it's the same rate.
Good idea. Yeah,
I
right.
mean, I think just having some language in that sign up page,
Mhm. Good idea.
would even work, especially for the new members. I think our existing membership would probably already know that rule.
Right. I like
I
that.
just don't want to discourage new members either. But
I know we don't wanna do that, but we certainly wanna, like. Page of sign up page thing. months. Membership fees used to this date. So we paid them.
No Wild Apricot has any prorating tools. Do you know, Megan?
No, I mean, I think that'd be something that Michelle would have to do, you know,
Right.
but, or manage.
Yeah,
but-
she may have an opinion about this. We can certainly talk about it during her update.
Yeah.
I know she did bring up something like if you renew your membership, you know, for that first year, we could prorate. We could do that too. So for your first year only, if you come in, you know, say after the conference, we would prorate that first year's membership to whenever you came in. So say it's July 1st, prorate, you essentially would pay a, what, 8 or 9 month prorated amount, and then come March 1st, you pay the full amount from then on. So,
Yeah, we could check. Michelle.
but yeah, we'll,
So that, yeah.
but that work would be on her though, obviously.
Sure.
Right. But that'd be that's what she's supposed to.
Exactly, that's why we pay. I mean, I just want to make sure that somebody doesn't get discouraged by not wanting to become a member because they have to pay another $50 in 2 months.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
think
again, it's not a big deal, and it's not like we get a lot of members annually, new members anyways, but I think, you know, I think it's important that we consider that.
Okay.
Like the idea that it's a hard stop, though. It's just like if you have any issues.
Yeah, I think the new member thing is the different ballgame. Because especially if we're out recruiting at a different conference in September, they want to become a member, well, they gotta pay the full $50, even though there's not even an upcoming conference until our next cycle.
Yeah, because we won't know what we won't know if we don't join because of that issue.
And I think a lot of people are gonna become members to get that discount for registering for the.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Correct.
And so another way of doing it would be when they register for the GeoCon, Michelle talked about that incentive of becoming a member, like they could get that 2-month time frame free. So if they registered and were not a member in January and they registered for the GeoCon,
Are we gonna do that every year though?
No, that'd just be for new members.
just for new members.
Yeah, I think you can almost do that for any time of year. So if we're at a conference, say we're at the planners conference in September,
Yeah.
and we get new members at that point, I think you could almost just prorate from September to March. The amount, just for the one time for a new member. But let's talk to Michelle when she gets there, because I think she may have more of a thought on that. She's done that with other organizations.
So it seems like we're changing two different things. We're changing the fee structure, changing prices to $50. And the other thing we're going to change is when people renew, and we're setting it all to March 1st. Which I think we should probably vote on both of those things.
Absolutely.
I don't think, my opinion is, I think we should just set March 1st as the date and then have people renew onward whenever their previous date is. Rather than setting everybody to renew on one date.
So you're saying just the new membership would do the March 1st one and then everything else is gonna be still I don't want that.
So like if you pay $30 before March 1st of this year, you won't be prorated, but next March 1st or January, February of next year, you'll pay 50. So we won't get that extra income this year, but going forward, we will.
Well, that's kind of what we've been talking about here. I mean, this is what's going on with this, that they're getting the free. Like these guys here, all these people here have already paid their membership for $30. So they're not gonna pay again this March 1st. They will pay 2024, March 1st. So these guys have already paid their $30, so we're not gonna tell them, hey, you owe another $30. Or we could ask them, hey, can you pay that extra $20 to cover $50? But we kind of agreed that we weren't gonna do that. We were just gonna say, all right, look, these guys have already paid.
It'd be a little more complicated in the 3 organization memberships than just pay extra 2, you know.
Yeah, I know, exactly. So we were just gonna give these guys look, you paid it, you're gonna get the extra few months here. And then in 2024, you're gonna start paying the standard rate. So they're gonna get a few months extra.
Yeah, because I know Billings and Bozeman are probably gonna have to figure out what they want to do, because correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, you probably aren't using the full 10.
No,
Yeah,
but we're
so
getting
you guys are
close.
gonna have to figure out what you guys want to do there, but.
Did I answer your question, Mike, or help clarify things?
I think so.
I mean, I don't wanna, I'm not discouraging your ideas or anything, I understand what you're saying and stuff, but I think we kind of. So I don't wanna start. We start saying we're gonna prorate only the new members and stuff, and we're gonna.
I think we're overcomplicating it.
We are, we just need to get everybody on, this first year is gonna be a little complicated, but after that, everybody just needs to get on the, you know, the March 1st thing and,
Yeah.
and, the $50. And that's it, you know. But yeah, I agree, I think we're kind of starting to talk into overcomplicating a few things here. And I think this is, the way I was talking to Michelle about this, you know, these people here, we're gonna let, you know, go till 2024. March 1st, and then they'll be paying $50. These people have frozen their accounts. Well, I didn't freeze them, but Michelle locked them so that they're not paying right now. So they're getting their free couple months right now until March 1st, and then they'll pay their standard $50. So they'll be paying the $50. And then these people here, these are the only people that are going to kind of be half in, half out, you know, kind of. Yeah, there may be some dissension here where that, you know, going with Rob's idea that that maybe we would, if they really want to whine about it, that we can cover them for the year or whatever. There are additional costs to it.
Yeah, we can address on a case by case.
Right. I mean, there's only 39 people here that we're dealing with. So that's kind of what we came up with anyway.
I think we might be ready for a decision. Set it for March 1st.
Has anybody else got any other comments? No? I see Jason's right. I mean, I think we should still talk to Michelle about this. Maybe we don't want to just, and I guess I wasn't thinking about that, but I mean, I do want to lock it in. I mean, if they pay, if they go in December, and hopefully they look at the print when they're signing up where it says it's March 1st to March 1st. Or, you know, whatever, and that if they pay in December, they're gonna pay in March again. Kind of thing, and if they wanna wait that long, that's fine, you know, wait till March 1st, but again, we don't want to dissuade them either. So I'm not sure where we would go with that. But we probably need to consider it though.
Definitely clarify it on the website, the registration website, and just
Yeah,
reiterate that it's from March to March.
Yeah. I mean, it might cause the fact that March may be a big year, a big month for us getting registration stuff. Anybody else got any other comments then?
Mike, sorry, I just wanted to add to, I think, not that we're gonna receive any questions, too many questions about it, but we might wanna make sure that we clarify our reasoning. I know we state, and I think the letter
Yeah.
edited stated that it makes things easier on our behalf, but what ultimately, why ultimately are we, you know, changing it from what we've done in the last 20 years?
Yeah.
And I think
Nope. I was wrong. I was
Yeah,
wrong.
Jason.
Yeah. And I think we just, we generalize it in it. But I just wanted to make sure that we're all ready, just in case somebody said, well, this doesn't, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I mean, any questions that you guys don't want to answer, bring them to me and I'll tend to the questions and stuff.
Really,
Hey,
it's
guys.
Go ahead, Rob.
We have the benefit currently of having two guests. And I'm what, you know, I've heard us going around and around about this for months now, and we're really concerned about making it, you know, pushing people away or creating a unpalatable situation for members. I personally feel like this is a pretty standard thing. Fees go up, efficient, you know, things are done to increase the efficiency of our administration and things of that nature. I think it's fairly understandable. So me personally, I think I'm a little bit less concerned about creating a difficult situation. I think we just need to push it through and go forward with it. but I'm really interested in hearing the impressions of our guests, you know, and because that might help us understand whether we're creating a problem or solving or a solution here. Tacey, you know, and Bobby, what do you guys think? Could you weigh in on this?
Yeah, Tacey, you got any comments on this? Is Bobby under you?
I hate to put you on the spot, and I apologize for doing so. If you want to respond with a chat or something, maybe that's okay too.
No, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with Rob. I think that it's just one of those things where you got to push it through and get on a schedule. I don't think it'll be too effective or ineffective. I don't have too much to say, but I do agree with Rob.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Ryan.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. Bobby doesn't have a microphone, so if you want to write out a big chat, that'd be fine. Bobby is underneath, face me, I would push through. So Bobby says the change would not faze me. I would push it through and move it forward. Yeah, because Bobby's underneath the city of Billings, so that would be just rock. So they have the whole group association thing, so. Okay, so the first step, I think, we need to send the letter out. Is that where everybody stands? I hope. Thanks. I like Jeff's letter, Jeff. Not Jeff, Jason's letter.
I didn't write it.
I know you. Jason, I like your letter. Are you good with us writing it? Or sending it out? Or did you want to look at it? Did you want to
I
look
think
at it?
it's
again?
fine. I think we will just confirm that we want to add that attachment as the
Right,
task force, and then
right.
I wasn't sure if this was a letter to be sent via you, Mike, as the board, as the director or the chair, or if it should come on behalf of the board, in which case I think I added in the notes that we could just list all of our names as part of the
Okay,
contributors.
no, I like that.
Yeah, well, and if we put the task force recommendation letter up on our website, easily just link to it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll certainly do that.
So, I mean, as long as everyone's read through it and sounds good, then I think we could send it out.
Yeah.
Approve it, motion to it.
Well, I believe that this should be the first step, sending this out. Then we just move forward with setting the fees at March 1st and giving Michelle okay to, you know, start making her wild apricot work for that. With the spreadsheet that she had already set up and stuff.
Hey, this is great. This is really great. I'm just wondering, in that letter that we were just looking at previous to this one, that will be sent out, will we be sending out an email, you know, a reminder, you know, that you know, a renewal reminder? Will we be sending that out?
Yeah, I would think, like in February, I think everybody would get a.
Well, I think Wild Apricot does some auto.
Yeah, it'd be like an auto letter, wouldn't it?
Megan, do you know if Wild Apricot sent?
I just think that might be a good sentence to include in the letter that we're sending out, right? Saying,
There'll be some
doing
kind of.
this, and you can expect a renewal notice in March.
Yeah, I think.
It's just an action item so people know what to expect.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's something that Wild Apricot just does automatically. It's like your membership has lapsed, and then I think it then sends you another one, I don't know, 15, 20 days later or something like that. I know there's some renewal notices that go through there.
And we can talk to Michelle about that.
Yeah, we can certainly review those.
Okay.
The last paragraph on this letter references that if, you know, again, this is if we approve March 1st, but it mentions that we'll continue to provide correspondence as the deadline nears. So we want to make sure that, I mean, I think this gives folks a heads up that March 1st will be the renewal date, but also somewhere before March 1st, they should receive some sort of correspondence from either us or Wild Apricots. I think it's
Right.
referenced in there.
Good.
Well, then I don't know if we're communicating to those individuals from September 1st through, was it December? What we plan to do with their memberships?
Yeah, we probably will have to send out a separate letter to them saying, hey, your memberships have already been paid, you paid them. Your next payment will be March of 2020.
Yeah.
You're right, we probably should send out a letter.
Yeah, I guess in that sense, I'll make a motion to approve the letter as is, or with the edits. And with the link to the task force letter and all of our names at the bottom as contributors. And to set the renewal date as March 1st for all members.
Here's a second.
I'll second.
Okay. All approved? I'm not gonna repeat what Jason or Jeff said, what you just said. Say aye. Aye. All opposed?
I want that word for there.
All right, I think the motion's passed, so I will, that's great. So when Michelle does get here, we will talk to her about getting things going on that. I will get that letter sent out and we'll talk about, I'll talk to you, Jason, about getting that letter linked to that or the task force letter.
So do we want to bump back the communication associate?
Yeah, what's next on the agenda?
Yeah,
I'm
so
sorry.
let's do the legislative update first.
Yeah, hang on.
Give them a little bit more time.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
sure they're gonna be here in the next 20 minutes or so.
Okay, well, I'm actually really glad that this is, I feel like this is getting behind us now.
Yeah,
We've
we-
been getting about this for quite a while.
Yeah, we've been talking about this since, well, essentially this summer, like
Yeah.
last summer.
But I think at the same time, I think we should give each other credit because
I completely agree. We should all we're all involved. We all put some, input into it. I really think that we all did real well with it together and I think it's solid, to be honest with you.
Speak of the devil, I think this is them right there.
Well, they can wait. Okay, so next on the agenda, we're just switching to the next two, as we wait for Michelle and
Yeah,
Alicia to come in. They're coming in now.
Yeah, let's go.
Legislation support update. Aaron has stopped by. Thank you for stopping by. Would you like to give the update? Because I really don't. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was the first time into the Capitol. I did all right. I felt like I read. I didn't give a lot of eye contact. And but I enjoyed it a lot. It was very interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Eric.
Okay. Hi. Hello.
Sometimes making that eye contact would be the most frightening part. It's like looking down on
Don't
myself.
look up.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
I was a little nerve wracking. I definitely felt out of place. That was for sure. Yeah. Or out of my league, I'll put it that way.
Well, I know you guys are getting settled in.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt your meeting. That wasn't a pleasant drive, but we made it.
Yeah.
Apparently that was the case for you yesterday.
Mhm.
So, Aaron Fashway, for those of you that I think I met everyone, but I just wanted to give an update. Oh,
Alicia, nice meeting you.
I heard you were coming. I'm the state GIS coordinator. And so first of all, I just really want to express our gratitude for the Magip board, stepping up and Magip in general, supporting Senate Bill 60. I know, gosh, I'd have to look back at the records, but I think this is the first time probably since around the beginning of the creation of the cadastral, the beginning of the creation of Magip, that we, the Magip has participated in the legislative process. And so Senate Bill 60, just as a reminder, in 2021, we got a one-time only approval, we being the state library, to and a go ahead to start setting up the real-time network for the state of Montana. So that's real-time GPS corrections. And we are one of only a handful of states left that does not have a network. It's integral in surveying and geospatial data collection, precision agriculture, construction, and eventually when everyone is using them, remote, what's the new fancy word for driverless vehicles? So driverless vehicles, yeah, self-driving vehicles. Yeah. I think, yeah, we'll probably be one of the last ones there too, which I'm okay with. So we started the process. I mean, the state has been trying to work to get one of these set up for a very long time. And, my predecessors over at the Department of Transportation. And then I got a call in 2017, right after the horrible budget cuts from Utah saying, hey, tell people in Montana, leave us alone. And it was like a little weird. It was a joke, but at the same time, I was just like, why are Montana GIS people calling you? And they wanted, they wanted Utah to expand their RTN network to the state of Montana. And that's when the discussions kind of restarted. It took obviously a long time, but we got on a pilot project with some of you might have used with the state of Washington. And now we've been able to transfer off the state of Washington's pilot to our own pilot. You all have access to it if you want to use it now. I would recommend it before we start charging a fee. Once this SB 60 goes forward, it's all pilot phase, so everything's free. And it will eventually get out of pilot phase where we can start recovering the fee. So for those of you that don't understand the ins and outs of state government and what you can do with money, I'll just kind of give a little bit of a high level overview. We can't just take money from anyone and we can't just spend money. So we have to have a legislative appropriation is what it's called. And so every year or every biennium, we work to set our budget. It's a long, painstaking process. I'm sure it's probably somewhat different for local government, but you have to go through the same budgeting processes or similar. And the legislature actually has to approve that. The governor's office first, and then the legislature. And so in order for us so we have a network, it's up and running, and we are, I think, about half, a little less than half of build out. So we're probably at like around 50%. In order for us to collect fees, we have to have a bank account. In order for have a bank account, we have to have approval to get a bank account, and that actually has to go in legislation. And so this legislation, pretty straightforward. You guys have already read it. It's less than 2 pages. Basically states the Montana State Library is able to have a bank account, a fund to collect these fees and then spend from that. And then also names us the authoritative administrator of the account. Makes sense. It's right now we're using one-time only fees from the MLIA. It's, has to do with the RTN supports accurate land information. So I think it just is a no-brainer that it sits with us and that we partner with folks like the Department of Transportation and others throughout the state, including the tribes. So that's the bill in a nutshell. It's being sponsored by Russ Temple. He's Senate District 14. And you're going to have to forgive me. I don't know all of what that encompasses, but it does encompass Liberty County. He's a former Liberty County commissioner.
It was all up north.
Yeah. And he was former county commissioner. He's also former grantee. And he is supporting the bill. They actually got a grant to put a station up in the county for precision agriculture purposes and for bettering their data collection in some of the cities up there. I know Mike had worked with Jeff Sprock, so thank you for helping create the testimony.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
We only had one small edit, and I even wrote in there, it can be a little nerve wracking when you're in front of legislators. There's a very formal process. So I even wrote on Mike how to spell his name. Not like you didn't know, but you actually have to spell it out, and there's a certain way of communicating with legislators. And so
There's a lot of mistakes in there, though.
no, you did good. You did a great job.
No, I didn't say me. I mean, a lot of people are making mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that being formal is.
Yeah, it is. And so we had Magip, you guys give testimony. Again, you did a fantastic job. And there were some bills dealing with elections before that, and they got a lot of comments and questions.
Well, because we brought, I don't know, 5 or 6
Yeah.
supporters, they decided to bump us. There was only 4 bills that day in that group. And because we brought so many people, they decided to bump us to the end. And of course, the bills ahead of us, one was elections.
Yeah.
Dealt with elections, which
State
went
administration.
on forever. And then one was dealing with audits, which went on forever because lawyers got involved, and then they, oh my goodness, their answers were like 20 minutes long. It's like you forgot exactly what was going on. So
Yeah.
So this was the least complicated by far there.
It really
Of the
was.
4 they heard in the 3-hour time period, yes, I think so.
Absolutely.
In the most highly technical, I would say.
Yep.
And so, you know, anything can happen during the session. I always tell people that. And we got there early. Mike came at around 1:30. I prepped him. Wally Gladstone came, prepped him. So Wally Gladstone was representing himself, who is a surveyor and an engineer, his company, so a private business owner, and, you know, some of the tribes that he works with. He did an excellent job too. Liberty County Commissioners, County Commissioner Larry Hendrickson, he also represented Mako. And so he brought Mako in at the last minute. We weren't sure if Mako was going to give testimony, but he represented Mako. So we had, and then Marls. So we had Marls, Magip, and Mako. And I would say that's perfect. That's the trifecta for us moving forward. I'm sure we could probably get MAP and League of Cities and Towns in there too. But anything geospatial, I think we'll try to shoot for that. But anyway, the chair kind of was like, make it fast.
Right. He was moving us along by.
Yeah, so it went well. And they did not take executive action on it. They usually don't after the first reading. We will monitor the process. So basically, I don't think it's next week. I'll just continue to monitor the process. I don't know when they'll take executive action. After that, it will go to, oh shoot, the Senate or the House. I think the Senate, to the greater Senate, then it'll go to the House committee.
So the committee brings it back again.
It gets read like 3 times. Is that what I heard?
It's more than that. It's like,
3 or 4.
it's like 6 altogether.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, it's like, it goes committee, hearing, committee, executive, greater, like House or Senate, back to committee, executive, greater House or Senate, and then the fiscal note that comes with it. So they actually have to, it goes to like the fiscal committee.
Right.
I could have had that written out. I'll work with Jenny to send you guys some things. I just think it's something you guys should know about. In addition to that bill, there are 3 others in draft mode that would include GIS. MLIA, which you guys have already read through. As far as I know, the Lieutenant Governor wanted to make more updates, and so I don't think that's been finalized yet. I'm waiting on to see what those would look like. It might go into bill draft this week. And then it's got an LC number right now. It's called draft, but there's no documentation. The only way you would get documentation is if someone had given it to you. And so we had created it, so we have it. I'm just waiting on the final updates from the governor's office before I can send it to anyone else. And then, so that would be the MLIA legislation. That's,
Aaron, sorry, really
Yeah.
quick, that's just in regards to the reorganization of.
that is the under the red tape relief,
Well, that's
the,
where you were limiting or changing or thinning it out or cleaning it up.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, reducing the size of the council, and then kind of clearing up some, issues with rule, giving us more ability to change the grant program, and create new rule under the grant program. And then it would also remove the annual plan, but replace it with a 5-year or 3 to 5 year strategic plan. We'd still have annual updates, but we would, it's a very heavy burden administratively to have to publish one of those. And I feel like I'm constantly planning, and that's it. And so we'd be able to kind of take a more strategic way of doing our planning. And so that's important. The other one kind of came out of left field as far as we're concerned, and we met with the senator last week regarding it is mapping applications that I haven't seen any draft legislation, but it went back to the alignment of the cadastral. Yep. And so I sat down with the senator last week, and Jenny and I did. And I'm not sure it's gonna go anywhere, but if it does, I think it'd be something interesting for you guys to take a look at. We'll see where it goes. We'll have our opinions, of course, and there are certain things we're able to give, be a proponent of or an opponent, but typically we like to take an informational only. That means we don't oppose or oppose any legislation or be a proponent. We just are giving information about it. The other one would be school district boundaries. So again, pretty big with counties. Still waiting on that one. Megan's been working to help get me estimates on legal descriptions, school district boundaries, and what it might take. But basically doing a thorough review of all school districts. And most counties do not have legal descriptions that have been sent to us, I think we can say, like.
I don't have them all, but it's in statute that they're supposed to have.
Right, right.
Hopefully they-
Yeah.
They're buried somewhere. Nobody knows how to get to them.
That could be.
I started,
Yeah, well, yeah.
I started that process in 2008, and I think Megan's probably got a little more than what I got. And so, and it would also make it, that legislation would require school districts and counties, school district administrators to send us any changes within 10 days of change. So which I think is pretty great. It would help us move things forward quickly. And then, so that was, so yeah, so the one about mapping applications, the one about school districts, I've talked to you about, and then MLAA. So we are consistently monitoring the legislative efforts.
Is Jenny throwing that information on our listserv? Is that?
Not yet, I don't think so.
Well, no, but I think she's throwing a couple updates on. Has it been Jenny that's done that?
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
yeah,
That's
she
really
writes
nice.
them
Yeah.
and then sends them to me forward
Yeah.
them to the geospatial community. I don't think I sent the one from Friday yet because I was getting the grants published.
No, that's fine. I was just making sure that continues.
Yeah, absolutely. I was wrong. There's 4. The last one, you've all been waiting anxiously to update your data to the new state plane coordinate system. So in statute, it actually calls out the official state coordinate system. And most states, we started this discussion, I don't know, 2 years ago, maybe longer. Most states are updating legislation to not list the actual coordinate system itself. It would list the standard. And so instead of saying, you know, you're going to be using state plane 983, you know, blah, blah, blah. It says you are going to be using the most current standard produced by the NGS.
Laurel's has come to us already about that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
saw the initial draft. I don't think we've seen any revisions.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, so the draft, it's not in bill form yet. And so that's another one that I think would be good to support.
I think we've already sent a couple letters. to
Yeah,
Laurel, so
yeah.
that's-
So you sent the legislative update on Friday.
Did I?
Yeah, you did, yeah, because you also sent the grant stuff, so you have 2.
Oh, I remember the grant stuff.
I don't remember something.
I don't remember anything else.
You sure it wasn't Jenny?
It says from you 3:59.
It was a long day. Yeah, so again, great job. That's what it looks like moving forward. And I think we talked briefly, at least Jeff and Mike and I, Jeff and Mike and I, double Jeff, about creating some sort of moving forward. And bringing, creating some sort of method for the community to get involved. And I would be willing to be on that and help with that subgroup or committee or however we're gonna call it. I would love to be involved and.
Because Marls has a legislative committee, don't they?
Yeah, and they give legislative updates at their mid-winter meeting. And they talk about them throughout the year, or the 2 years in the biennium. And, they talk about things that are gonna move forward. If there's ever a day that you're gonna do that. But I think I can work with them and some of the other, like Marls, to see how they go about it, what their structure is, and maybe create something similar for Magip, if that's the way we want to go.
I don't know if that's in the card for Mega, just because like Marls is just so huge. I understand why they have a legislative, because they have such a large body of both membership, boards, committees, and we just don't have that support from our membership. It's like that.
Well, I mean, we were thinking about making like a page.
Yeah,
Yeah. There or something like that.
I think we probably should do that relatively soon though, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something
Hey, Aaron?
Yeah.
I'm not, that mapping applications, I'm not quite, I'm a little foggy on what was being discussed in regards to that.
Well, I have not seen any draft. It was the senator just kind of, he wanted to discuss the issues with the mapping up with cadastral and why it doesn't align in certain areas and
aerial.
yeah. And why it's out of alignment. And so,
Oh, we gotta explain that to them.
yeah, I think he understood it. It came down to needing more survey control. And so we started talking about that and he had some ideas, but I don't know if it's gonna go anywhere.
Well, and I guess to his defense too, the area that we're talking about that he was pointing out, BLM essentially surveyed 3 different times. So you have these weird jogs and section lines, which is like, oh, is that right? Did you guys just like?
Well, is that along the river? That's normal.
Yeah, but yeah, it's along a meander river, and so it's surveyed 3 different times, and it was kind of BLM's way of connecting the 3 different surveys that don't line up in the survey world, because these things were, surveyed in the 1800s.
Right.
So it's not a perfect world, and I think if you're wanting, I would almost probably be a complete resurvey if it wanted to be more spatially accurate to the T, probably a complete resurvey of that township. So that would be a lot of money.
So Aaron, to go back to what you were asking, like if you look at the laws system, and that's the what legislature uses to manage their bills and their bill drafts. A bill draft has got an LC number attached to it, and it's like an LC and then a 4-digit number. They don't ever publish those records. So they could have a bill draft or they could have an idea. And the senator who has it listed under his name, he did not share with us any bill drafts. So it wasn't anything I could give feedback on. When we had the discussion, it was basically like, what could we do legislatively to fix this process?
Okay, so this is preliminary discussion.
Yeah, it's a little more formal in that it's in a draft, but I don't have any other information. The other ones I am privy to because people came to us and asked us to help write the draft. And so that would be the OPI one with school districts, and then the other one, the MLA, which was part of our work that we did with the council. So it's like a sub draft. So, yeah, thank you again.
Oh,
Mike.
thank you.
It's probably something though, since I'll be off the board next year, probably something to consider to continue talking about at the retreat. Whether or not, what sort of processes that the board wants to implement, or keep all that kind of on the board itself. So Something to
mean
keep, something to keep in mind there, Jeff and Mike, about how to move forward with what makeup wants, whether or not they want to create it. Be a good time to talk about it at least.
I don't know if I want to wait that long. That's almost a year from now.
Yeah, well, I mean, this year's already in motion. So
Right.
The next legislative session is not
that's
gonna happen
true.
until 2025. So
Right,
we got time. It's not like this happens
Yep, you're right.
every winter, and thank goodness it doesn't, so.
Right.
But you should all know that we're proposing budgets starting next year, like, and legislation.
Oh, yeah, it's a long
That-
process.
yeah, it starts
Sure.
in 2024.
If you wanna see the testimony, it's on MPAN. It starts somewhere around, how do we say that?
Maybe we'll take,
You're right.
maybe we'll
Yeah,
take,
you're right. I saw that on the TV because we were watching it on the TV. I'm like, M-Pan, is that like C-SPAN with Montana? They're like,
yeah, maybe we'll take a look at it at lunch. We'll put it up on the big screen.
Yeah, it starts
Oh.
about 17.
I was gonna tell anybody.
It's
Did a great job.
Yeah, Jason sent it to.
I think it gets sent.
No, well, it's good. I mean, State Library, Evan had a great overview of what the bill is about, and I think he did a great job. And
Oh, absolutely. And he
So
was,
it's just if you're, interested in learning more about it, it's. great.
yeah, and he answered the questions pretty well too. So you watched it already?
I just saw the first like 10 minutes of Evan's. I didn't even get to yours yet, so I just found it this morning.
Mine's only like 20 seconds.
Makeo's was shorter.
All right, well, thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it. We'll just go on to review of our social media. Alicia is here. I guess we can go around the room again, quick to introduce everybody for you.
I'll start.
So yeah, go ahead.
I'm Alicia Smith. I work with Michelle and Full Scope. I just got in late last night from Georgia, so. give
Welcome
me
to
a-
the weather.
And so I've kind of taken on your social media, and it's been, I guess we can go around and introduce.
Yeah, go ahead, Eric.
Oh, Mary Shire, with the city of Bozeman. Haven't got on a little last minute, but it's been
You're the conference.
conference liaison, yeah.
And that the board appointed, he wasn't elected.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, our elected process, he was a little complicated. So.
And we really appreciate you jumping on here and you're doing a hell of a job. Appreciate it.
Jeff Sprock, City of Billings and Magip Vice President.
And I'm Nate Wolf, I'm DNRC.
Mike Idem, Membership Development Coordinator, and work at Department of Transportation.
Jeff Fetchman, past president of the Montana State Library.
Jason Danielson, Lewis and Clark County, City of Helena here in town, and work as I represent the technical committee.
Yeah, Aaron Vaughn, Secretary, but I also work as GIS Coordinator, out of Great Falls.
Mike Powell, I'm the president and I am the GIS manager for Yellowstone County.
Burns, I work at the state library as well, here in Helena, and I'm the web admin.
Yeah, I know I've met some of you guys via like Zoom and then gotten emails exchanged, stuff like
I
that.
think we have one too. Did you have to step out? Okay, Eric had to step out as well, so we had to. Yeah, did you, Mike, and want to give us an update on how you feel things are going so far, and any changes you'd like to see, or?
Yeah, so analytics wise, it's kind of a little too soon for me to give like a full report. So I think my first
Well, what's the,
post for
I guess-
October.
yeah, but my first question then to that right away, I'm sorry, I don't want to destroy your train of thought there. Do you need like a year? How long do you need before you can give like a full report, in your opinion?
I think probably after like the conference and stuff, we can really see how the reactions goes towards
Okay.
for those.
Maybe leading into the June meeting,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be a good
okay.
idea.
since that's kind of the first
Yep.
meeting of the.
After the,
of
yeah,
makeup year.
yep, okay.
I mean, from what I have, I mean, obviously everything's up because prior to me starting, there wasn't much regular posts. I can tell you that the biggest reactions we get are LinkedIn. People are really engaging on that. You know, we'll get, 25 reactions to something on LinkedIn and only like, a couple on Facebook, or people seem to be sharing things as well, and which makes sense, right? Because of what your organization is about. So I think really we can focus more in on that platform. I don't think anybody uses Instagram except for me posting it. There's
Okay,
no
so
one-
nothing.
Well, we just don't have followers. I don't think it was, because even when I was kind of linking it in together, I don't know that the accounts were properly linked with Facebook.
I
So
don't think we even have Instagram even advertised on our website.
it's not, yeah, I kind of just, I don't even know how I stumbled across it.
I've
The
got
only-
you.
and I-
Phoebe was the one that created it.
Yeah, and the passwords I had for it weren't correct, and Facebook and Instagram are linked in together, so I was able to actually access it, but I can only access it through Hootsuite because they're connected. So I don't even, if somebody wants to look into the accurate passwords and stuff for that.
I can.
We've got some activity on Twitter as well. That would probably be like second, I would say. And then, Facebook after that, but definitely LinkedIn is the one that we can lean in on. People react really well to anything about the conference. People are sharing job postings, the contest winners was kind of a big thing. And then the legislative post has gotten quite a bit more shares. I think it's gotten a lot of shares.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't know that was coming, and I like ran upstairs and I was like, look what they did. I was so excited. I was like, that was awesome. I really appreciated that. That was amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that definitely got some reaction. I'd love to get a little bit more like personal things that I can post. So like pictures of like, in the field, or, I think we kind of talked about that a little bit, just kind of leaning into more of like who the people are behind the organization, maybe a little bit.
I can get you some of Jeff.
Maybe
No, he just went out recently.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm.
All right.
Went out to a bar or out in the field.
Field.
No.
Bar, then he can give me pictures of the bar.
And people really reacted to, I had a post about, your continuing education that you guys offer on the website. There was a lot of shares in with that. So really getting out, really like kind of why you guys hired me in the first place was, to let people know what you're about and what you have. And so I think leaning into more of that, and, I can repost a lot of that stuff as well.
Yeah.
Keep pushing it.
Yeah, Just Rock, you may want to share some pictures, because I know you guys use the RTN network.
Oh, yeah.
create the collection, so that might be a good example of, leaning on some of your folks. Maybe do a little mini story.
Get some
on it.
pictures of the guys using the tremble.
Yeah, I think that would be nice.
Yeah.
And then a little story to go with it would be great.
Yeah, and like, anytime I can kind of cross with another organization,
Mhm.
so that it shows up like on the state library and stuff, anytime I can kind of connect in with other networks,
Yeah.
it works out really well. So, because you guys obviously you just told me you all work for, DNRC and things like that. So if anytime I can kind of tag it into another organization, that always expands.
DNRC does a much strong work too. We probably set you up with Brent. Yeah, because he also posts a lot of things on LinkedIn, all this other stuff, or.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, things that you guys like to see, like we want to share the same things.
Yeah.
The conference, like training stuff, like Jason is heading, and knowing what, I think that'd be a cool social media, so what's gonna be held at the.
Yeah,
Like
that,
start
Yeah.
highlighting Yeah, I'd love to highlight workshops. I'd love to highlight speakers,
yeah, especially
especially on LinkedIn.
since we've confirmed some, I don't know if we really put days. Set days and time here.
Yeah, anything you guys can send my way.
I think that's good. Share some workshop.
Is the communication with you and Mike doing pretty well?
Yeah, and I'm getting messages from everybody else as well. Anytime you guys need graphics or anything like that, it's not hard for me to just throw those things together. I am moving back to Montana in June.
Yay!
So, so,
Sure.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, so. So communication wise, I'll be able to kind of be on the same time zone as you guys, so sometimes it's, I get requests and get back and it's a little different, but. So.
Yeah, thanks so much for all your help so far. I think.
Yeah, I think it's
been a huge improvement and like same thing for coordinating everything. Helping for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you have any suggestions on what you'd like to see anything different or?
I don't think so. I think it's going really well. People are definitely responding and reacting to these graphics and social media posts.
Yeah, and like I said, like pictures and like drone videos or things like that, just to kind of switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, I know you created one with like the, like, all the listserv, but
Mhm.
maybe. Cause I can send it out too, through Wild Laptop, but sending to our membership. To basically follow some social media.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But one thing I did want to, just cause there is kind of the numbers don't quite match up with what some of the listserv memberships. I was gonna send out that post, that you created,
On the listserv, yeah.
Just because that's where we probably make our most presence is on our listserv, but there is probably, I don't know, maybe less than a quarter of our membership that isn't even a subscriber of the listserv. They may not even know about it, but that's separate. Like when you sign up for Magip, it doesn't necessarily subscribe you to the listserv. It's sort of separate, so.
Yeah, so I'll send you that graphic and then I can create a graphic that also, says like follow us on social media and then have the links below
Oh,
it.
cool, yeah.
So when they get the email, they can click on that and then it'll take them and then they just click follow.
Yeah.
Another thing that'd be really helpful is, I don't know how much you guys actually follow and use social media, but anytime that we post something as an organization, if you could share it on your networks, just click the share button. You can write something on top of it
Yeah.
or just share it.
Yeah.
Because then that creates, more follows
I
that
think
way.
Eric Spangenberg's been doing that the most. I see a lot of reposts from him.
There was somebody else and I think it was like Wyoming or
Yeah.
Idaho, like, kind of the surrounding states. I've noticed that there's been some people who live in those areas that have
But if you-
followed and shared.
Yeah, but if you include Instagram on that, we also need to make sure we put it on our website,
Mhm.
follow us, but at least that would probably give us an indication of yay or nay to keep our Instagram account
I
around.
found that work at our meeting and annual, our retreat, I think we had
Yeah,
Discuss that?
discussed like that
Put
we
that
would just do, I think we were just focusing on LinkedIn and I
yeah,
don't even, I think we agreed like Instagram's not even worth.
Yeah, I got no problem dropping Instagram if it's not really doing anything. for us.
Honestly, we don't have to drop it. It's free, right?
Okay.
And so I post everything through just one application, like a one thing and it'll automatically go there. So it doesn't harm us to keep it. I mean. Really
Well,
just-
then, well, in that aspect, then I believe Jeff is correct that we should probably have some kind of indication on the website. Instagram.
And having some
You guys
sign-
know.
Having some signage or some way that we can connect it in to people who attend the conference and sponsor the conference, getting them like, on and following us somehow,
On
maybe some
social media.
signage or something, maybe a QR code or something that we would do at the conference. And get people following as well, would be great.
yeah, that is one thing that I'm looking forward to is having probably some sort of social media presence during our conference, because I was kind of running our social media prior to this. I'd just be so wrapped up in doing like the planning and run around. I didn't ever have time to sit down, write a post or take a picture and post it. So
Yeah,
that is one thing I'm looking forward to is actually, and that'll probably spark, our membership. Just because we see it from our vendors will post something afterwards about our conference, but then if you look at our timeline, there's nothing else about like pictures or posted social events. I mean, there's really nothing, other than I think the 1 year that Curtis DeVault, was kind of doing the whole social media thing, so.
yeah, and one thing that'll be nice during the conference, like, obviously you guys are gonna be kind of all throughout each different zones. and, you know, experiencing different talks and things like that. And you guys, I'll just give you my cell phone number and you take a picture, just send it to me. Like, and just say, you know, tell me who it is, what's going on, and then I can get it on there.
Aaron?
I didn't know, I know it's official meeting, so I wanted
There's
to.
no-
So, at other conferences I attend, people start doing real time, that's what I was gonna ask, is like, do you have a plan to do real time, like shout outs, like, hey, come join me today for this and this? You could, I think you should encourage that, especially with the sponsors, and I already started hustling sponsors, just so you know,
We've gotten 4 so far.
it's working. I put a little pressure on,
State Library is one of them.
yeah. I put the pressure on there, I'm like, sign. But the other thing is maybe if you create an incentive for people, if they post at least once, they get entered in to do something. That way it starts the culture of trying to post throughout the conference and then, or before the conference. And then also, you know, it starts that up and then lets everyone know that's something you want to do moving forward.
What was the incentive that you suggested?
Whatever
Oh.
you guys choose, pick a whatever. Just like this year, everybody gets raffled in for something fun.
Free drink ticket.
Yeah, yeah,
Like maybe for like sponsors.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about. Do they do it with attendees?
This is just an idea I just
Okay.
came up with, yeah. But then also in addition to that, what I wanted to know, and you know, I was just talking briefly to Jeff and he's like, I think he said, talk to Mike. And I haven't sent you the email since Friday when I talked to Jeff. Like, what's the official request mechanism for us to like, hey, we want you guys, can you please help us push this? So on Friday, I released MLI grant program and then also a training opportunity. And so that would be great to then get out further information on. It's in the future, like MSDI working groups, stuff like that. I mean, we'll put out our, you know, probably over informative emails. But it would be nice because I think you do a great job of synthesizing, hey, join us here. And then you can link to our Gov delivery. It's all create a unique
Would it just
document.
Because I'm assuming those same things are going to be going up on the state libraries, Facebook, LinkedIn as well,
I don't encourage Facebook use.
or LinkedIn.
Yeah, Facebook, we looked at the data we had over years and you get like 10 people react in Facebook and 700 people react in LinkedIn, like depending upon the thing. It's just not what
I'm
we're
assuming, but I'm
doing.
assuming that grant stuff and the training.
That should go on your stuff.
LinkedIn, right? And then we could.
Yes, yes.
We could just share it.
Right.
Well, yeah, either way, I don't know like what gets better reaction. I'm not sure. If it's a share or a, hey, look at this.
I mean, we could certainly create a post, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
on that.
I think that's a great question, Aaron, because I think at our retreat, we had talked about like a formal process for our community to engage with this. You know, we want people to be, you know, if they have something they want to share, send it to Mike and then Mike, you know. So I think we had a template at some point that we were supposed to be using, which should be using the funnel through Mike. So, but that's a great question because we'll have others that want to contribute.
Right.
So we just need to dial that in and figure out what that process should
And
be.
if you set like we can help set the precedent of people doing it, then we won't be the only one sharing and it'll hopefully create perpetuating communication.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously our idea was like, you know, if our membership has some sort of story or some sort of photos with the story that they want to share, and you know, some downtime to be posted on social media. We have some sort of form that Mike's checking on a regular basis. You know, we can essentially pull that information, or at least to pull information from that form to kind of fill in some of the gaps.
So I pull most of the majority of the stuff off of listserv, right? Because I figured if you guys are sharing it, then you support it. So if there is things like that you guys are sharing on listserv, you can just like forward it on to me and say, hey, social media post. Like that's all you have to do.
Okay.
Like, and then I would assume, and then if you want to say something specific about it, or I'll just assume to take the information that you sent on the listserv. Just to make it a little bit easier to not have to create multiple things, right? Because it's already like, you're already doing it on the listserv. So this way you can just forward it to me and say social media, or, you know,
think we should still consider, somebody that's not using a listserv that wants to contribute.
Oh, yeah.
like What our process would be through Mike or Alicia.
Could we set up like a form on our website?
Yeah, it could either a form or a survey, 1, 2, 3, or Survey Monkey, survey, however you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we could set up a form to,
Well, we have that, what's it, the whoop up or what's
Right,
the,
the request for assistance, we could just add to that.
and then you give an email. You know, directly once someone submits that, then we have to. I'm sure you can do that with the survey 1, 2, 3 as well, I'm assuming, right? Because I know you all have done that with like the letter requests are using survey 1, 2, 3.
The GIS piece for it.
No, for the LiDAR request, so if you get a request, do you and Troy get an email, right? That's a survey 1, 2, 3 form, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
can you
So,
add
probably
pictures
use
to
it.
the survey 1, 2, 3 form? Like upload your own photos. Okay.
Cause yeah, the woo woo thing, I don't think you can
Yeah,
add attachments.
we just don't have a survey 1, 2, 3 account, so and I don't know, we kind of talk with Ezra, I don't know if you want to give us one as a nonprofit. I don't know if we fully tapped into the nonprofit benefits.
How are we using it now then?
I think we just have a free global account, which seems to be the, well, Mike found out that you can't create a map gallery, so our
Yeah.
benefits seem to start dwindling as a free global account.
Like Magip camps? I thought we had one.
Yeah, it's
Should
free
be
for,
easier.
It's just a public.
yeah, it's just a free global account. I don't know if we've ever actually knocked on their door, hey, as a nonprofit, what do we get?
I think so. Some visual accounts for nonprofits, I think.
Yeah.
Something close.
Yeah, and then I think with those, well, I just don't know if that, because I think what you're talking about is the home use ones. We wouldn't be able to use that for.
No,
here.
I think for nonprofits, I think.
Okay.
They have their palette of options.
Yeah, so I think that's something that, tap on Jan's shoulder about and ask her, hey, as a nonprofit, what's our actually, what can
There's like-
all do for us, to want to use other platforms that Ezra has, so.
I have another question too, Mike.
Yeah, jump in.
So as a part of the strategic planning process, we came up with 5 strategic goals for the Montana State Library for GIS coordination. And one of those goals is improving communication with GIS, just improving GIS coordination, communication in general. And so we actually came up with we hired someone as a part of a business plan, and they came up with a matrix for communication. And so it's part of our job to communicate with Magip. And so I was wondering if it's okay if I try to coordinate with whomever is responsible for communication and Alicia. Yeah, to help us come up with good methods and protocols that it could just be automated, sent. Like once we do something, I could say, hey, can you post this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what we're talking about here, like if it's a survey 1, 2, 3 form, anyone within our membership can just tap into that. I mean, it'd be like our request for assistance form, it would be on us, hey, we don't want to share this, or yes, we want to share this. And then we get that information, Mike would get that information then to Alicia.
If we can automate it
Well, you're
out of our processes, I think,
thinking about something a little bit more than that, aren't you?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And
So
I mean, you're getting to the point where you're just hiring her now yourself.
no, not hiring her, just like when we have something, it automatically gets sent to her. To post, yeah.
Through the Magip channels.
Yeah. Or sent to Mike. Yeah,
Yeah, if it goes directly to him,
Right.
yeah,
right?
I think that would be, as long as you keep it, I
Uh-huh.
think we need to keep Mike involved.
okay.
So yeah, send your stuff to Mike.
And then, I mean, even to open the door for the discussions of, hey, maybe, Alicia reviews it, she's like, we put like 12 posts this week. Maybe we condense them to something else. Maybe we do a video, maybe we do something that, but partnering on communication in the future too. We've identified 6, as a part, and I can send you all this business plan. but we've identified 6 different groups of people that we are going to communicate with. And it's the general public, the geospatial professionals, so that's you guys, the affiliated professionals, all the ologists out there, library professionals, educators, and then decision makers and policymakers. So you can imagine we would probably write a story or write something different for all those groups, you know, because some of them are gonna have technical backgrounds, some of them aren't. And then we have a long list of how we are going to be communicating with them in different ways. And so like email, podcast, social media, ServiceNow, print, meetings, in-person conferences, broadcasts.
You have a
media.
podcast?
No, but we participate in podcasts. We haven't
Okay.
done a podcast yet, but
Okay.
we participated in several podcasts. So it's how we're communicating the system, done radio, done TV. Yeah.
Okay.
The website. Because we can also promote Magip through. our
Yeah,
lines
which
of
would be great.
communication.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I personally, I mean, if anybody else wants to weigh in, feel free. I feel like we need to keep Mike involved. You know, I think it needs to go through Mike. If things change, we think that, you know, we can go directly to Alicia here. That's fine. I think for the time being, I think we still want to keep going through Mike. That way, if Mike's got some stuff, he got some thoughts on it as well, he can bring it to. Start to talk about it.
Yeah. I'm probably in that same camp as well, just because if we have other organizations in our membership that are doing the same thing, kind of just as. It's removing our existing process and just. Putting more on Alicia and just getting all this other stuff, right? Like, what if they're not a Magip member, what if they're just some random person that just wants to post it? You know, is, you know, the existing process at least prevents that. If, you know, Mike knows that this Colorado organization has nothing to do with Magip, and we don't want to post it on our social media, we can essentially just shut it down right there. So,
You got any thoughts, Wayne?
Yeah, I agree with that. Maybe we create like a email group that you could automate to send to that, and then it would get sent to me and Alicia if you want to be involved in that. I would, I guess, send you a email saying, oh, I approve of this.
yeah, it could be a good one. It could just be a good one that get a few people on the phone.
Yeah.
And
Do you guys have teams yet? Magip?
No, Megan itself is
we're
we all are individually.
Google, we have the drive.
Oh, you're Google. Does Google have automation like Magip does? Where you fill out a form, like, so we just kind of dove into the process of automation with Teams. Where someone can fill out a form and it will automatically go to whomever has to approve it. Once it's approved, Nate knows these work.
I think Google has more.
Okay,
Yeah, Google has forms.
but does it have the automation?
I think it does.
Okay,
It must.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure they've all copied each other. Once one agency did it, I'm sure they all copied each other.
Yeah.
you use a workflow like that, then you're reducing Mike having to actually go in and look at forms individually. It just goes through a workflow process.
Yeah, they just automatically would redirect it through that form, would just direct to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the way we've done it is as soon as someone fills out a request to submit an MLA grant. And approval gets sent, we have to make sure that they're an eligible recipient. We click yes, they get an email and says, you know, you've been approved. Creates a folder for them, it creates documents for them. And so there's just continual process. Yeah,
Did you say we talk about?
MSL,
I think Google Workspace does have that.
it's got to.
But I think that Magip might need to update. Cause I was looking at your Google stuff the other day and I think you still have an older
Yeah, well,
version, so I think that your Google account might need to be updated or upgraded.
Does it have to be upgraded to G Suite?
yeah, well, we may be sitting outside of this too, because Google Forms for personal use is free, but as soon as you go to business standard, it's $12 per user per month. So.
Yeah,
I think it's like G Suite. What they call that.
yeah.
But it looks like we have access to Google Forms. Essentially, we'd be using it outside of personal use though, so, but I think we are using the whole the whole suite of Google's as kind of a grandfathered personal use anyway.
Yeah, and it's free, and you're using a free version right now.
Yeah,
So-
we're using the personal use, but we're kind of using it outside the scope of what you would define as
Right.
personal use, we're using it as a business essentially.
And yeah, maybe if we started using Google Forms, we could get rid of something like Survey 123 and start paying the subscription for Google.
Cause you can do like video conferencing too over it, like if you pay for that business plan, instead of using Zoom, you can do video conferencing and everything through Google Workspace. And the automated forms. Anyway, one more thing to add to your list. One more thing to add to your list of things to.
Going
Michelle's having you
full
do this.
Google.
It's a change.
Big software to see.
You know, I'm not sure it's gonna compare to that.
So I'll look into
Right,
some
like it's a change.
Google automation and setting up a survey to automate emails.
It was.
For the time being,
I just-
we'll have to continue that discussion. Social business, Google, whatever.
It's probably something to research and maybe present to the board in June or something. I can't imagine it would happen before that, just because we're all starting to get into common. So I think any new business is probably be pushed until.
Can we look into maybe the Esri upgrade? They give it to us for free as an org.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Jan and check on
You're gonna do.
nonprofit plan. Yeah, I got that on my list. Just to see there, because then that would, this would probably tie into this other decision. But if we wanted to do Survey 123, that would at least be an option.
Right.
But we're gonna have to figure out what we want to do for, especially for like gallery and stuff, because we can't continue to use it. And so that was kind of just like a temporary one-time use, I think, for GISD web gallery. So, yeah.
Oh, we're using it.
So
Yeah, just for the.
Oh, I didn't know that.
just because, it's something that Esri must have implemented just this year, is we're no longer able to create our own custom web gallery using the free global account, but
Oh,
we don't have anything formal with Esri yet, so we probably should consider it.
okay,
A nonprofit.
okay.
Yeah,
Did you-
or it's $100 a year or something.
Jan?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, the budget this year is going to be a big conversation, so.
Yeah.
That's the problem, I write stuff down, and 2 days later, look at it, what the hell was that?
What's this chicken scratch?
All right, well, that's excellent,
Do we want to talk swag?
no,
We have
what I
a little
wanna
time.
do, we have a little time left, what I wanna do is I wanna get back to, not that I wanna get back. to
Oh, yeah,
membership
Michelle,
stuff,
yeah.
But we do have a few questions from Michelle about it, since she was a little late.
Yeah.
That we wanted to run by her real quick. Before we go to dive into lunch, Nate, when are you leaving? To go pick kids?
5 minutes.
In 5 minutes, okay. Did you have any questions off the top of your head? Just so you. Jason, guess what? I found your email.
Yeah.
I don't know if you wanted to, did you ever find it?
Yeah.
Oh, you did find it, okay.
Sometimes it's nice to be a little old school when your computer doesn't work, right?
So Michelle, to be honest with you, somebody help me out, what kind of questions do we have? Oh, we wanted to know about, prorating?
Yeah, so any new members that come on, say we're at a conference in September and we recruit some new members. Obviously, if they sign up that second, they would only be paying through March, and then they had to pay again, so they wouldn't see the benefits of, reduced conference fees and this and that. I think we're kind of just generalizing that is what it is, and there's really nothing we can do about it, or I think the other alternative would be prorating that amount through September to March, just for new members. And then they would start paying the regular fee March 1st.
Is that something that can be done for one thing?
I think so, and I see you have this pulled up, so, because when I originally did this, we were talking about possibility of prorating current members, but I don't think we thought about new members, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I think it can be done in Wild Apricot, I'll look, there's
I
a
don't
thing.
wanna start doing that all the time though, because I mean, we kind of got, I mean, we were suggesting too that it's like, hey, look, if you're, or, well, that was it too, the initial letter. Or when somebody's registering, they want to be a new member and stuff, there's gotta be something, we need to have something on there saying, hey, look, our thing is March 1st to March 1st. So if you're coming in late December or
March
January
28th, or yeah, like March 28th.
or February 28th, you know, it's like, hey, wait a day.
Or February 28th.
So-
yeah.
Or wait a month or so and then sign up.
Yeah, Michelle, you had mentioned a lot of your conferences are the annual, that's just one set date, right? Most of them, you know, historically, how's it handled for somebody that mid-year wants to join? And then it's recognized that, hey,
Yeah,
they're gonna have to
they got
pay
joined,
another-
they gotta pay again the next.
a couple months later.
So, yeah, so if it's within 6 months, it's a kind of a membership. It's kind of like here's a special deal, right? Like, say membership is due July 1 and it's February. Join now, you're gonna get almost 18 months of membership for this price, right? Like, so it's more of that's just for new members. It's for new members, or say you were a member 5 years ago and we've lost you for 5 years, but we want you back. Here's a special deal. Join now, you're gonna get your membership's basically free from now until.
Is that easy to like implement like automatically in Wild Apricot? So somebody wants to join, I guess in this case, it would be January 1. So when they sign up, they would say, it would show that their membership would be good for the next 14 months instead of just the next 2 months, and then it essentially
Yeah,
considers it a renewal.
I manually go in.
Okay.
So if it's a new person, because it's typically not that many, right? We're talking maybe a handful of people.
Exactly.
I
yeah.
manually go in and alter the next renewal date to the next.
Okay.
So like now, if somebody joined now for that July 1, hypothetically, I would go in and say, okay, their next renewal is July 1 of 2020. Or, yeah.
Yeah, but see, now we're getting to the point where it's when they get hired in or when they register in, that's their date now all of a sudden.
No, it'll still go back to March.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
It'll still go back to.
It would go back, yeah.
It's just for new members or like lapsed members for 5+ years or something.
Yeah, it's like if you're trying to do some kind of a membership campaign where you're wanting to get new members, or hey, we haven't seen you for a few years, we want you back, so here's kind of a deal for you.
So if we have like some next year, so I'm considering this year. So after the conference. So by December. We got a few people that want to join. So you're saying that they would join and then they wouldn't have to pay again until 2025,
If they joined when?
like in December of this
December
year.
this year.
December of this year would be December 2023?
Yeah.
No, so I think if it's that,
That's what them.
So that's what we're saying. So if they join into
Because we already made the decision that the renewal date is.
March 1st,
yeah, so if they joined in December of 2023, right? It's
are
still,
they gonna have to pay again March 1st?
no,
So you're saying 2025?
right, so they would get,
You know, bonus
3 months.
for 3 months,
They would
whatever it is, yeah,
they would get 3 months of free membership,
okay.
I like that idea.
if
Yeah.
that is how you did it.
Within 6 months, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a great, I think.
Yeah. I
But
think that's
if-
great.
But if they join 7 months, which whatever 7 months from March is, then they just need to know that.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay again.
Right,
Done.
I like that. Yeah, cool. And that's something that can be done in, well, that way. Yeah, we need to put a blurb out there on the initial letter or registration saying, look, this is we're now March 1st to February 28th.
Because right now we just have, so from January to March in that analysis, we
Right.
just have the 2 associate A, 1 associate B, the
Yeah.
Montana State Library. So that's your bulk of when people renew is January through March.
Right, so like I said, and you may have been out of here, Aaron, but we were saying this, but your stuff has been frozen. We're not sending you a new membership until, was it February, we'll let you know. Is that, do we send them out like a month beforehand?
I mean, if you get that letter out to membership, I mean, you could send it out
Well,
whenever.
okay, so then, okay, I mean, we are sending a letter out. As soon as I get back, actually. But then we were gonna have, I mean, so the renewal date, I mean, does it usually go out a month beforehand saying, hey, your membership is due?
Yeah, or for even 45 days, and I would tie it into a conference promotion, like.
Well, that too, yeah, absolutely, I agree.
So I think, Mike, what we're talking about, Michelle, is that, I think Wild Apricot has an automatically generated email that gets sent out, and we want to make sure that, right, that we're sending something as a reminder as well.
Well, do we want to do that? Cause I mean, we're sending the initial letter out.
In your initial letter, you might want to just add invoices, invoices will be, watch for your invoice to come soon,
Okay.
new renewal cycle. Then we can go in and customize into Wild Apricot and customize the email that goes out to them.
Okay. Good.
Um,
That's what I kind of looked
And I would
for.
promote the conference in that
Yeah.
and yeah, it would be a good way, it would almost be a good way to get in some new members too.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with that.
Yeah, so you could have that go out like mid-January or, I mean, have we opened registration yet? I don't think we have. So I guess that would be like maybe 30 days prior to March 1st, that email would go out. Because I'm assuming registration for the conference would need to be open by then. Right?
yeah, like I think the beginning of February is what we talked about, because you have enough workshop information. That I think, and a lot of people won't register so they can see everything, but I think if we get enough workshop information out there, people will start looking at it.
Because most people are gonna take the time to renew their membership and pay for their conference, right all in that same invoice.
One thing that confused another association I worked with is people wanted to, so the event registration and the membership are two different transactions. And so it was really important for them to be able to, and I don't know how you guys do you have to pay your membership and event registration in two separate payments from your work?
Yeah, I would do it that way.
Two separate, so that it might be good for you guys. The other organization, it was really important for them to just be able to pay one invoice for everything. And so we had to really explain to people, you can do that in Wild Apricot, but you have to go in and,
Invoice later.
yeah, you have to go in and register and hit invoice, and then you have to go membership invoice, and then you have to go back in and go, okay, now I'm gonna pay my invoice.
It's not, yeah, we don't have set up.
But if you guys-
Membership
No, we haven't said it.
and then conference.
But are you
Yeah.
guys, are most of you okay with paying two different transactions? Like I'm gonna register for the conference and pay, and then I'm, okay.
I think some of
That's two
your,
different budgets. for me.
Yeah, I
That's-
agree. I think
That's easier, because otherwise it's kind of hard to explain to people.
yeah. Well, we could have like because I can imagine there's probably some local agencies that will want to do that. We could just have like a quick like 2 or 3 page PDF of, hey, this is how you lump both payments into one by
If you wanna do that.
invoice them later, go back in, pay the entire amount.
I don't know, Alicia, what do you think? Do you think it would make more sense to send out the renewals and say, renew your membership now, because conference registration is gonna be opening in a couple weeks, like have that be a pre-thing and have them go ahead and renew. And then a couple weeks later, follow that with promotion, hey, registration's open now. Like, should we push for those renewals first and then, or do it all at once? It just depends on if you want to get all those renewals in first.
Well, I mean,
It's all gonna happen around the same time.
It is.
exactly.
So maybe we should talk about like a plan for how to communicate that in the best way.
So you wanna get your letter out now, so it's.
Well, we're gonna have the initial letter out. Yeah, hey, this is what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think your renewal notice is a good time to promote the conference, but yeah, at what level promoted the conference are you talking about?
You're right.
So for Alicia, just so you know, right now, when somebody goes in and joins, it's called a join date renewal. So their renewals are all at different dates.
Right.
And they're trying to get it to one, so
Yeah.
we've got to communicate that to people,
Yeah.
let them know that. So yeah, we can just think through we can draft up some communications for you guys to look at and to roll that out, which would follow your letter. But I think if you can add a little statement onto your letter that just says, watch for
There is that, correspondence regarding.
your invoice soon.
I would recommend putting a QR code at the bottom of your letter that they scan and it goes directly to the site where they renew. Because anytime you can make stuff easier on people, you're gonna get a higher response.
We could do that on the renewal notice.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
letter,
I don't want that. This letter, I'm not gonna.
His letter is just letting people know that the process is changing.
Oh, the
This is-
process is changing, not that
this
your
is-
renewals due.
Right.
Right.
When the renewals due, that's what I
Yeah,
would
that's an
recommend.
idea.
Do it on that.
Honestly, anything that makes someone's life simpler, just,
Yeah,
oh, here it is. Hey, you know, whatever.
I think we can do, because we
That's
can
easy.
customize those. That's a good idea.
I would recommend something like that at the conference as well, like a sign, like you remember, and like have a printed sign with a QR code that people can just scan and then sign up right there.
Yeah, well, we,
Because everybody at your conference should be a member, like, they should.
Can I just make a point? You might get pushback because of, how people's budgets have already been set. I mean, it's updating, but also those people who just registered, they might not be able to pay it this year because they is a part of that budget.
Well, this.
We talked about that.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about
September
all
1st.
these people in this column here,
Uh-huh,
their next time they pay is 2024.
okay,
So these guys have already registered, so they're getting the extra 3 months. These
okay,
people here have already frozen. Yes, these are the people that, yeah, your budget, you're right. So
Yeah.
this would deal with you a little bit.
But they would be.
I
their
think they're
renewals
paying a
were-
little,
my renewal's already March 3rd, so.
Yeah, all those people in that middle column. their
yeah, but
renewals-
they did budget for, I mean, they
Oh, the
budgeted for
new
the
amount.
$30.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
yeah, they didn't budget for the.
And I can go in today and renew it, just so you know, that hasn't been shut down.
It should be.
Like I could go through right now.
And
Yeah,
It shouldn't,
I won't press it.
no, it's.
I won't push it.
I mean,
Yeah,
push it.
but I just want you to
And
know
actually, I
that.
think the price would be cheaper, actually. than-
Oh, yeah.
So
No,
you had already
It would,
budgeted,
if I, yeah, I mean, it is an increase.
it is,
Yeah, because it's based on the 50, right?
Will it-
Not the
well,
30.
only for the first 5 people, and then after that, it's $40 for every additional person.
Right, but now it's based on the $30, so it should go up for us, which is fine.
No, so you'll actually have to put in your information to renew it?
I turned off all the renewal notices is what I turned off. So I don't know if if people are just manually going in like that, I don't know if there's a way to turn that off, because otherwise you would just be locked in.
I got that.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah, you also deactivate it.
I've turned off all the renewal notices. That's what I've turned off, but if
Yeah.
you're just, if
no,
you're.
I got it right here. Hold up.
Right, you didn't get a notice, so you just went in manually. and
No,
did
but
that.
it's on my calendar to renew.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to, because otherwise I'd have to just log
Yeah.
into your account.
Deactivate it.
I was just gonna say, because of budgets might be tight,
Yeah.
if there's a way to just kind of gift. So you don't lose
Yeah.
membership
Yeah.
for
we-
the
we
months,
will.
yeah.
I mean, I think we.
Yeah.
We did talk about that, yeah.
Because remember, the state fiscal year falls
Yeah,
June to July, and the federal is October to.
yeah. I say if they truly aren't locked out and one of these do go in and renew, I don't think there's anything we can do about it.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not gonna do
It's not
it.
a big- Yeah.
Can we like break the page link or something?
I
No.
could make it not public, but then they wouldn't be able to get
Yeah.
it.
So, I mean, Michelle, I guess how are you handling that for like, say, the city of Bozeman or Billings when they're actually under those individual associate members? You have to essentially migrate them into the organization member. So we're kind of restructuring that.
Which
Yeah.
one? Sorry.
Well, you said that you
Well,
were
maybe-
going to get everybody out.
Yeah, I
You have to put everybody back.
I have-
Okay.
Expert.
So then you have to like essentially change their renewal date so they don't get a notice March 1st since
Right.
they've already paid.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to export everybody. And then go into that column on the spreadsheet and change the renewal date and then import everybody back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the folks that we're talking about on the far left, they won't receive one of those renewal notices. They won't get one until 2020.
No, do you think they need a special letter?
Yeah,
explaining
That's what we talked about earlier. Mike was gonna have that.
Yeah, we were gonna do a special letter saying what's happening. and then- Yeah.
Mike, was that done to just know you could depend on that, instead of having a steady income like throughout the year or weird throughout the months? Was that to know on your budget, like you were gonna be expecting all that funding coming in March?
Why we set the date, why we.
Yeah, why not, just an annual refresh at your date of joining the organization versus why you're making it to be March 1st?
I don't know, we just.
Probably easier to,
That's,
yeah,
we
easier
had
to,
this discussion and I think we have to be ready for that question. 'Cause
Yeah,
We've been doing it for 20 years and suddenly we're just.
right. I mean, I
I
think,
feel like it's a better way to do analysis too, of who's in and out, you know.
I still think you're not gonna see, there's gonna be people like me. I'm lapsed on my district membership because I thought I got paid by months, like by 6 months.
but by doing.
And they gave me a grace period of 6 months, and then I just realized, or 4 months, and they're like, hey, renew, don't forget to renew, and they graced me in. And so, I mean, but I'm still not paying, they're still not seeing my money until December. And my renew date was June or July, and I'm gonna pay that again in 6 months, even though I just was wondering why.
This is a question for Michelle. Do you get the member rate if you didn't renew your notice? Say you didn't renew your membership. Because it comes up on March 1st, but then they sign up for the conference. If they're not logged in and you see them as an active member, can they even? That's where the benefit is. They'd be signing up as a non-member if they didn't renew their notice. And that's why I like the timing of March 1st, because it's right around the timing of the conference. Versus if we do it on our fiscal year in July, they have no incentive, like, there's nothing going on in July. Why would they? So we would get all that, people would be, lapsed membership, or they would wait for their invoice to be like, oh, December, time to renew my membership, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. It's just the timing around the conference.
I
think.
agree, but like, I was always shocked when I was part of Magip at how many people would pay a higher rate. And they would never become a member. And it was not a big deal to pay a higher
Oh,
rate.
for the conference.
Yeah,
they
it's
do.
more of a big deal to pay a membership than to pay a higher rate to go to a conference for people, and it's always been like that. And so I'm not sure that is the case for everyone. Like, if your rate went up, I'd still go to the conference. But it's the organization account that sometimes comes into question, not the
Yeah,
conference rate.
right, I think,
Yeah.
I think.
Some of it's about like, your organization is not able to pay for your membership, but they pay for your conference registration. So
Right.
justifying that, within, hey, I want to go to the conference, this is the fees, instead of like, hey, we can save this much by me signing up as a membership,
Yeah,
and,
right.
I
And
mean, in Great Falls, I would just lump both of them in at the same time. I would just sign up for the membership, have my employer pay for it at the same time as
Right.
registering for the conference. Doing the same reimbursement form, which I'm sure there's a lot of state employees that do that.
I don't know, be interested to find out.
Well.
I was just curious as to
that's a
why.
good point. We are gonna move forward with this all this way.
Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, if things fall through for the year, next year, we're certainly gonna have a conversation about it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, from my standpoint, I would say our answer would be, it's a little bit more budget friendly to have it on a singular day. We know how much,
Near the
you know how much money's coming in or expect to come in, instead of coming in at all hours or all months of the year. And then obviously for analysis purpose, we know, our membership hit is right around the conference anyway. This is a good time to at least analyze it after the conference. Say, we got this many new members, instead of it being new members all over. I mean, we still could get new members all months of the year, but I think for the majority of the new membership, they would be around the conference. So.
Mike, I'd be prepared to put that in the letter, because the task force didn't examine that piece.
I know.
Yeah,
So, yeah, so our only statement right now is the transition to an annual renewal date will assist administration with member management and analysis.
that sounds good.
That's what's in there now?
So
That's in the letter. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
I think it's fine. I mean, you're gonna get certain questions or individual questions. Like,
Right.
hey, why are you doing it this way? My membership is, it's been like this for the last 20 years.
I know. Yeah, it's just.
Change is hard, I get it.
No, okay.
I think you could also say elections.
I don't wanna bring that word. I don't think that's a good idea.
Because elections happen in April, right?
Oh, you're talking about for Megan?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, the elections are, yeah.
More elections.
Yeah, and you have to be a current member to.
Yeah,
Well,
you could include that in the letter.
And
All right, oh, go ahead.
I would say you can set it up to, this way, and I don't know, like, I guess Aaron, would this be appealing to you? Maybe not, like, you can set it up to be automatically recurring too, like. So that, that's if you had a credit card number in there, you wouldn't have to remember to go in every year, it just automatically.
Oh, God, I probably shouldn't do that, yeah.
Like a subscription, you know, if you have a subscription to like Netflix, your.
If it was me a personal account, I would totally do that.
Yeah,
Cause it's such a low rate, but not for
so
not
most,
for my big.
so most organizations probably will not want to do that.
I'll only speak for the library.
Okay.
I mean, I could ask. I wouldn't have to ask, obviously. It's kind of.
Anybody else got any comments from Michelle or questions?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, just really quick, to Aaron's point, I like adding the elections aspect to the letter, because I think it'll help justify. So do we need to,
You mean the initial letter?
yeah, the letter that we already approved, we need to make an additional
Okay.
motion for an amendment to include.
Well, no, I mean, we did a motion to as is or with edits, so I think.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, I think we're good with that.
Yeah, well, because essentially that covers our bases for
Yeah. Any
the edits that
yeah,
you made.
yeah, I think we're good with that. So add something for the elections?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Cool. I'll run that by you since it's mostly your letters, I'll put a statement or something. by you.
And then if we
I
get.
just
the
added.
numbers, then you can highlight
Oh, you
that.
did it already.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Jason's on top of it.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh.
Right?
All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's break for lunch then. Appreciate all your thoughts so far. Anybody else got any comments real fast, or we have some lunch and then continue this later?
Nate, do you want to pause the recording?
Yeah, how do I do that?
All right, so
It's under stop.
well, yeah, I think it's stop share first, and then, yeah, so that recording thing, just.
Do we want to mention? to
No,
whoever's-
go up.
Whoever's online.
Up and to the
Right
left.
there.
Analysis.
Yeah.
Eric's back, but he said.
I just sent you that list or.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys, can you, throw the?
Maybe.
Excuse. Okay, so we wanted to talk about budget a little bit, and basically the swag. And, we had a brief meeting about it, as we realized that we are running low. And this is not talking about, we were not talking about anything for the conference swag. This was just general swag. And I will let Nate and Jeff continue on, because I didn't know about this little report you guys had, so feel free to jump in.
Yeah, I guess we'll start with what we have in the budgeted for this year, which is $750. And then, yeah, just started going through what we've purchased in the past and how much stuff has costed. So everything in yellow here is what I've been able to find in QuickBooks. So you can see we've gotten pint glasses, leather coasters, screen cleaners and stylus pens, chargers, tote bags, bookmarks, and earbuds. And we've gotten these from various vendors, not all in Montana, but Bend, Oregon, and Bozeman, and Allegra. And so, yeah, looking at those, I started looking at some prices for these different products. So then we have to decide what we want, and
That top one of the 2023, is that the ones we were talking about, like the steel ones or the?
yeah, so this top one is glass, and then there's prices for steel ones, right here. So I guess, yeah, with a budget of $750, I guess we have to first, just find out what we have in stock, and then.
Well, I think we were discussing about not using that $700. After the conference.
No, the conference was $1,000. We have.
Oh, is it that, oh, so is this separate? For the conference?
The conference swag has $1,000 budget, if I remember right.
It does.
It does. So the 750 is just for general swag.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think anything that we do, we could go outside of that 700 and just do it as a board decision.
I agree. I agree.
Board monetary decision. Just because the prices have increased. I don't think we took into consideration planning for this budget that we completely depleted our supply.
Right.
Last conference, because I think we made the decision to not buy conference specific swag, so that kind of did
Right.
force our hand here in having to restock, which is gonna be a lot more money than if we would just kind of re-up and maybe get one more thing, so.
Right. Okay. So
So the ones that we were thinking of was the stickers.
Yeah, we're thinking about stickers.
what's the mule mean?
That's the company.
Okay,
So Sticker Mule is the vendor we could get stickers from.
okay.
And those would last us for quite a few numbers.
That's
Yeah,
where those
if-
came from.
Yeah, if we want to go with
Like
these
these,
again,
yeah.
or a different design. Decide on that.
Oh, I like those.
Yeah, these are nice.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
And it'd just be quick little things
Yep.
that we can hand out at conferences that we represent at.
Yeah,
And so if we bought 500 of those, we could purchase them at 46 cents a piece, be $231. So, and the more you buy, the lower the price goes. So this is kind of hard to read. But if the price goes down.
Sure.
But I don't know if it's a lot, a huge difference.
well, 500, I would imagine would go pretty quick, wouldn't it?
There's how many people, like between 200 and 300 at the conference?
Yeah, well, it's not something we'd have to hand out to every attendee.
Well, that's what I'm thinking too, yeah, we're not, we'll
I mean,
just
I'm-
have it on
I'm
a
think-
table.
I'm thinking some of this
People
stuff
watching
can
on
just
the
be
table,
reserved for like conferences that we represent at.
That too, yes, I agree with that.
Like the air table.
Like Marl's.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I think we probably should take a different approach with the general swag that we buy. I mean, of course, we could offer them at our conferences.
Do you guys send new members anything? Like a little sticker in your welcome packet? Would be fun.
We don't even welcome that.
They get it, well, they get an electronic welcome
Oh,
letter,
okay.
but you could send them something, a nice.
Yeah.
I like the sticker.
Nice little incentive.
That's, that's a nice idea, actually.
Yeah, coaster would be cool.
Refrigerator magnet.
So are we now just thinking of ideas of what we want to get, or? are we-
Yeah, and so some other things, there's steel pint glasses or glass pint glasses. Those are a little more pricey.
See,
$6.95 per glass.
What's
And then
the twist?
steel ones,
What's the twist mean?
where's that?
That's the vendor,
Oh,
that's the vendor.
that's the vendor.
Oh, that's a vendor again, okay.
Such
just
clever
a,
names.
just a suggestion, you would probably want to go with the steel, even though it's more, because you're gonna have loss with glass. It will break, like you're gonna have broken glasses.
Yeah, well, and we would think too, the steel ones, I think are more multi-purpose. Just give a lot of cameras.
Yeah.
But the glass one kind of just sits at home and you'll either collect the dust in
Mhm.
the cabinet or.
Yeah.
And then pens,
Do you think only 50 of those?
50 pint glass, well, we can adjust that, that was just.
Yeah, no, I understand, but
And like,
That's fine.
are
I
these?
think those would go pretty quick.
Yeah, are those something we want to give out, like to everyone, or
Yeah,
something to use as a raffle? or-
Raffle.
That would be more of a raffle thing, I would think, yeah, I agree with that, yeah. So 50 would be good then if we're gonna do it halfway. So, yeah.
Yeah, so like, if we were to bring them at the conference, we could do like a little
little raffle thing at the conference.
Like,
Yeah, put your-
not our conference, but.
Not our conference.
At Marlo's,
Marlo's.
put your business card in there or
Yeah,
something, yeah.
yep. If we could raffle off a couple things.
Yeah.
Like a notebook and a glass or just.
Oh,
And then they can be prizes at like GI or meetups and stuff.
yeah. I like that.
Did you ever price the magnets?
No. And then notebooks. And that would be something similar to these we've had in the past.
Oh, so Allegra can't you do those then?
Yeah, and this is what they provided, something like this. It has 60 pages, kind of a cardboard top. And then we can give them our logo to put on the front. And they're $3.18 a piece if we ordered 200.
Remember the, maybe, or maybe it was Chase, they turned us on to they do some of that stuff at the prison too, for super cheap.
Oh,
Remember what it was?
State prison?
Yeah, the women's prison.
Right. Oh, no, it's okay.
Really?
They do, I think they do stickers, notebooks.
Yeah, I mean, they even printed t-shirts for us.
Yeah.
For full selection, and I think if you go to their website.
Yeah, just another vendor option, because I think sometime, I don't know all the time, but some of the stuff is fairly cheap.
okay.
That's interesting. Side business.
We can do that.
I know, isn't it? And it's what's teaching them a skill.
Yeah, I wonder. if they
That's an
do-
interesting side business.
Yeah,
From state prison.
they do good work, actually.
Well, that will definitely be good for next year's conference. We may want to keep that for a conference like for them.
Yeah.
Well, if we can get the order in, we can just have Mike pick it up and come up to Great Falls for Marlo's. We can get it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If we want to do something like that, yeah, why don't you're gonna call them up and find out what they're, or check the website and stuff.
Yeah, check prices first.
Yeah, yeah. No, that sounds good. Yeah, I can certainly do that. Did we get in touch of Creek with Mike? Figure if he had stuff?
Maybe like the old office or something.
Well, I mean, cause where our swag is kind of spread out all over the place, and we thought maybe Mike had some.
He's in.
If it's still at
Well, exactly.
But yeah, he could have left it.
Yeah.
If it's still at the HDR office, I can talk to Rachel.
Yeah, if you could reach out or something.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him because I have his cell phone. So.
Well, I certainly love to get his books. Marked.
Yeah, so those bookmarks, do you know if that was just black and white? Did you
I
ask
think
him
that's
about
color.
that? Was it color? Okay, but I think that's something that we can maybe ask Alicia if she could help us design, and we can come up with the content we want to put on that bookmark.
I recommend something funny.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
A little fun fact or something.
Yeah, something fun.
Well, just one fact, I mean, we don't want individual bookmarks being different. There's a lot of
it's the same
facts.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, something funny. I found something silly that I was gonna post on the social media. It's like a deck of cards, and it's like a place in Texas that does like different signs all the time. And it said, geology geology rocks, but geography is where it's at. You know, like funny.
It's kind of like the Fox Club in Missoula, that they always have a different saying up there. It's like what that place did, and they made a deck of cards out of it, out of all the different.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, well, and I'm thinking we also gonna probably need like a flyer or something that you can probably help snazz up a little bit, just something to hand out at our conferences and tell us who we are, our missions, and that, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because I mean, just because a lot of our stuff that we have is just so old, there's just no relevant information on it, like it's updated, so that's kind of the stuff we're talking about. It's been a while since Vegas had
representation at another conference that's not ours. That's kind of what's our general discussion.
Right.
Oh, conferences. Who are we? Who do we stand for? So,
Do you guys have like an old one at all that you could send?
yeah, I do have an old one that I was gonna tweak a little bit, with some new information.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty outdated.
Yeah, if you just send it to me with like an email of what you want me to change on it, like verbiage wise, then I can make it look pretty.
Okay.
And I just need to know if it's gonna be printed in color or black and white.
Okay.
Or, you know, how you want to go to.
This is for the bookmarks.
No, we'll know it's more for like general flyers.
So,
Yeah, and we'll probably have something at the booth about our upcoming conference as well. So I think you all have some graphics already designed for that, so that'll be good to include in our booth.
Is there anything?
When is
is there
the,
anything you can order?
15th through the 17th.
we were wondering about that. We didn't even realize we still had a website of goods to order.
It's live.
It is live?
Yep.
Yeah, we weren't aware of that. So,
I think it's just dropped off as, you know, as the board changes, you know, it's just,
Everything's out of stock right now. No, but I think it's through a third.
it's through a third party, so like you have to order it
Yeah.
and then it's shipped
Pretty
to
much we
you.
just set it up where our logo went to that page and then
Yeah.
anybody can go
Yep.
and use our logo on.
I
whatever they
completely
want.
forgot about it.
well, let's see, you want a t-shirt?
So we don't
Buy
do
one?
it.
Oh, you-
It's
oh.
all That third party.
That's not a bad
paid
idea.
that.
Yeah, that's
It's
actually
small.
Oh, okay.
What was your question, Michelle? About stuff. Tomorrow's conference?
I said that's a great timing to promote. the
I know exactly, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's gonna work out real nice.
But we have nothing to hand out right now, that's the issue.
Yeah.
Like, we literally would go there with nothing right now.
We need to order
So
this
we have-
stuff like now.
We have a bunch of pens, but they're so old, none of them actually
Yeah.
work.
You should print some of the little save the date, like make little postcards of the save the date thing you did, so that you guys, those would be cheap to print out and you could just hand them out.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, and this is all tied into this discussion, because we have tomorrow's conference coming up.
Yes.
It's February 13th, if I remember correctly, second week of February, something like that. Personally, I feel like the president, the acting president should be the one that's attending that booth. Plus, my thought is, and this is just my thought, since I'm sure they float in Montana all the time, if we have a member in that town, that should be the second person going to that town.
Where is tomorrow's conference?
Great Falls. Tomorrow's conference in Great Falls, so I have nominated Aaron here to join me.
And then I'll already be there for state library.
Yeah, and State Library's gonna be there, so I think that's gonna work out really good. That's just my thought about tomorrow's conference, but this year, that's what we got handled. You know, I'll be there with Aaron. Swag wise, I love all this. It's great. And this is what the price is gonna be then? How come that changed in the last 2 seconds?
Well, it was, I updated for me.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
So I think we probably should make some sort of decision to like spend up to a certain amount and then Nate and I can just do our magic. That way we don't have to come back to the board with, hey, this is exactly what we want at this price.
So should we say that we would like to boost the budget to a certain amount? I would say 2,000. So that would be $1,250. That would cover this, at least if we go this route. But I mean, this is a good start for sure, and that would cover that.
Yeah, well, we can make it as either
Change the budget or
Yeah.
just say, hey,
monetary budget or monetary for decision.
I just.
No, we can just dip into the reserve a little bit, I guess, for just this case, right?
Yeah.
I mean, can we make that decision on board?
I would think so. Why couldn't we? What was your thought though? I mean, you didn't think we could?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, I think because anything within the budget would count for approvals. Anything outside the budget would come towards a board vote.
Right, and I think we're obviously gonna go above and beyond budget, so I agree that we need to, there needs to be something Yeah, either we're gonna raise the budget or we're just gonna, you know, approve expending up to a certain amount for WAG. So, and then, you know, use the 750 plus whatever else we need. Does anybody else have any other ideas? And I guess my other question would be, did you find out when we can get this stuff?
I'm sure it's gonna depend on.
The Legro stuff should be fairly quick, because that's a local vendor.
Yeah, and I think the stickers would be pretty quick. I don't know about the pint glasses.
Yeah, well, I think we can go back to, I mean, especially since you're there in Billings, we can approach the state prison to see.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's comparable price, I mean, I bet you it's gonna be lower because they're not gonna have to ship it to us. It's maybe the other ones you're building in shipping price. So,
Yeah,
The turnaround may not be near as fast though for the state prison.
Like,
that
it might
could
not
be
be.
true, yeah.
That is true.
Are these prices current? Certain date?
Recently.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we weren't pulling like 2010 numbers.
I think inflation.
I do have, there's,
I think you would be able to get that stuff in a couple of weeks,
Yeah, that would be good.
but from once you put the order in.
I mean, when we had our little discussion, I mean, we were talking about ice scrapers, mouse pads, earphones. I mean, if you want to consider those at all, stress balls.
Yeah, well, yeah, Nate and I kind of took a back approach from this. Okay, within the allocated money that we have now.
Right.
So I think if we were to approve something up to a certain amount, I think Nate and I would then go back and reconsider other things, knowing what we could spend up to.
Okay.
Like for this, like we were thinking, okay, $700 is probably only gonna buy maybe a couple of these.
Sure.
one option to consider too is I'm a part of an organization that recently, the last couple of years, we purchased some, not to promote plastic, but they're like a heavy duty plastic cup, almost like a solo cup, except really solid. And people just raved about it, and I use it for a lot of things. So I think it'd be a really cool option, and I can provide pictures, trying to get the guys to send me a picture or something, but something a little different than.
How fast is the turnaround?
Pint glass. I don't know, I can find out. I think they ordered everything online and it was shipped. Not even Nalgene, it's more, I'll just send a picture. It's almost like a red solo cup, except it's
Plastics.
it's a hard plastic, and it's a really solid, yeah. So I'll forward it as soon as I can here to you guys, but I think having like our logo or something on that would be really good. Just something different than a plastic pint glass that.
Yeah, well, we were thinking the
silicone,
the steel ones for steel, yeah.
Well, the steel one would be for the raffle for sure. I guess these would too. I mean, I don't know if we want to give these out either.
But I wanted to share that, so I'll try to forward it to everyone just to see what they think, but they're, or. Just an example.
Hey, could I just say something quickly about the,
Go ahead, Rob.
about the swag stuff? My observation with the swag and over the years, personally, I find the stuff that's most, I like the pens, I like the stylus things, I like the notebooks. They're cheap. We use them in our daily life, you know. When you're using your Magip stylus in your office, other people see it. It brings visibility, and it's actually pragmatic. Those are kind of my thoughts on it. You know, the pints, I've got a couple of them actually, and I use them, but you know, my drinking buddies see those. That doesn't inspire anybody to join Magip.
That's when you really start inspiring when they're drunk.
So that's listen, you guys have a better grip on this than I do. It's not something that interests me terribly, but that would be my observation. I like the useful things that are related to our profession. And I wouldn't go too crazy with, you know, charging unit. I'd keep it simple and cheap.
Yeah,
So anyway, that's my 2 cents on the matter.
appreciate that, Rob, thanks.
Mhm.
I mean, we can certainly stick with this list. I mean, I certainly like it. I think the mouse pad is a good idea. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with, like Rob said, notebooks, you know, pens. Those are all good. But with the stickers, you can put that anywhere, you know, stickers are a great idea too.
Yeah.
Um,
What about the pint glasses? Like,
I like the pint glasses too for a raffle type of thing. I think that's a great idea.
and do we need 100 of them, or could we just do 50 of the steel?
I think 50 would still go.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think the 50 would go a long way,
50
particularly if we limit the use of when we hand them out.
Yeah, the steel ones I think would get better. Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, because we could have like, you know, a few when we go to Marl's, and if you have a really in-depth conversation with somebody, like, oh, there you go, you know, you could keep a couple back just for like, basically, for the sake of situations like that, and raffle a couple of them off. I mean, that's how we depleted most. We wanted to get rid of, because those last ones were fairly old, but we kind of just wanted to get rid of that stock. But we did most of those at the drawings.
Right. Not that we're copying, I want to copy the library, but what are you guys doing?
I think Erin I think what she was thinking, I think the mouse pads. I mean, that's probably a good idea. We probably don't want to do too much duplication, because if we're at the conference. I just don't know if the mouse pads will come in before Marl's, but yeah, that's a good point. Like what we're bringing with Marl's, I would hate for us to both have mouse pads, you know, because they may grab theirs over ours or ours over theirs, and it just turns into a swag competition at that point, you know.
Right. That I wasn't too concerned about. I mean, if we have the same thing, we have the same thing.
But no, I think it's just I'll ask Erin to see what we have that we're bringing.
I mean, is your table gonna be like this, a banner, and then you're just gonna have some swag up there for people to buy, just to talk and stuff? Is that? I mean,
Yeah, and then we'll probably have a monitor that we'll have probably just a runner on.
Okay.
It's probably something we probably should consider too, because I know we have a public lens, just kind of gives people a visual to look at. Oh, we'll probably bring our huge thing on a stand. It says, I think it's Light Art from Montana, which is kind of, I know that's not something that
We're not gonna have that.
Yeah, but I mean, we at least have our table runner and our banner that we're gonna have out in front, so.
Right. Okay.
But I
Back
think
up
having,
on the table, also the table.
I have.
Are you gonna be able to bring that with the state library stuff too?
You're gonna hire her.
I might,
You're gonna
I'll
hire
ask
her.
my wife to maybe. I'm not too good with it.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I think. I guess I can do this because but I'm trying to think of how I would word this for an approval. I would like to do a motion to be able to spend at least $2,000. I think we should be able to raise the limit for the swag to 2,000, which I think was the original budget like 2 years ago. Yeah, I would like to have that use that we'd be able to spend $2,000, up to $2,000 for swag this year, even though it's not in our budget. So I guess I could throw that motion out there as president. Can I do that? So I just did. So I motion that we allow that we can spend up to $2,000, which was our original, well, not original, but our budget a couple of years ago for general swag, as we are needed and need to spend some now for our upcoming conferences. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All approve that, say aye. 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 Anybody oppose it? Okay. So that's so moved, so I think 2,000, I don't know, do we need to set anything for this list? I'm good with this list. I think we should move forward. Just, I mean, we can't stop, we can't delay it anymore. Jason, if you can, as soon as you can,
I'm sending it right now. Yeah.
appreciate it. And then if you could talk to the women's person and find out from women. And then, you know, find out what kind of turnaround time there is for that. Because I can certainly pick that stuff up if needs to be, so there won't be any shipping or anything.
Everything in the, everything in the green.
Yeah, I'm thinking everything in the green except for this one up here, because this is not, that's not the steel one.
What about mouse pads? Should I look into those?
Look into them, but I wouldn't, don't put them on the list. Let's just concentrate on this and get this done. And we can start working on the mouse pads later.
Okay.
I think that'd be a good idea. Does everybody else like, anybody else got any ideas, thoughts?
So, President.
Yes, I'm sorry if I'm standing and I just feel like I need to.
No, that's okay. I just wondered, do you, for the Morals Conference or any other conference you're going to, do you want us to create a little postcard?
I would love that
Say
idea.
for the
Yeah, so,
conference?
yeah, to highlight our conference, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
then-
you guys can do that.
that-
Yeah, I have a fact sheet that I can show you that I did for another association. See if this is something that you want, and I mean, I can get, within a week, I can turn around these things for you guys.
We kind of have the stuff that you've been sending out is kind of got graphic on there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
I
just
have
need to
something
get
I'm just gonna tweak, and then, we can get like a code on there, so it goes, we have to open the registration, like create the link for the registration,
Yeah.
and then it won't take long.
But
I
we'll-
just have to cite it
That
down.
QR code on there. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be nice. Yeah, I like that a lot.
I mean, we can probably, and if we get maybe how many do you think we should get printed? How many people?
Say at least
100 maybe?
100 at least. I wouldn't go any lower than that.
Okay, so out of that, we would have the spending authority. It would, I mean, it's probably gonna cost that much money, maybe $100. 100.
Well, if we stick with this and these prices are correct, you still have 400
So we could-
and some, yeah, so we should be fine.
So we'll do that and then I'll, just get them mailed to one of you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Sounds good.
Got a buddy that works at Helena Copy Center. He might be able to print
Yeah,
them.
I was just thinking that too. You could send us the graphic.
And you could just get them printed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that would,
Like a-
because that would probably cut down at least on the shipping cost.
Oh, yeah, yeah, good idea.
To have
The little postcard size for the save the date and then,
4x6.
yeah, like 4x6, and then we'll do a fact sheet and have you guys look at it, and then we'll just send it to,
Send it to Mike.
yeah, you guys can just get them printed.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah, because, well, and then something for bookmarks too.
That way at least you'll have something to hand out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a good thing to promote our conference too. So. Yeah, no, that's good. All right, cool. Also, if that was it for the swag, also tied into this was, the budget. This is our first year of doing the Morals Conference. We haven't done, Magip hasn't gone to another conference before. So we have not accounted for that in the budget about maybe helping, you know, cover other people going to a conference kind of thing. I did, and I don't feel like I don't want to bring it up, but I mean, I did put in a request for assistance for me staying overnight last night because I was here for Magip, for the testimonial, and then I'm also here for the meeting. I didn't feel like I needed to drive all the way home and come back. Whether that goes through or not, I got no problem with that. That's fine, but I believe that I think we should have something in our budget going forward, especially for the Morals Conference this February. Also, I mean, Aaron's there, so he's not gonna need a whole lot. But again, I'm gonna be there for 3 days, it's coming out of my pocket. Kind of thing, so.
Yeah, well, then Jeff's gonna explore, if this partnership with Marls goes well, maybe partner with MAP as well. So we may have that expense in the future as well, so.
Jeff, as in, are you third person? Oh, you're talking about, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's cool.
Reference myself in the third person.
Yeah.
That'd be.
What of, city planners is on the map board, so.
Well, that's cool, yeah, that's great, but because of that, and if we wanna start exposing ourselves a little bit to the conferences, we need to put a budget item or something.
Yeah.
Could we kind of, since we are kind of spread out across the state of Montana, like Aaron is in Great Falls, we have people in Missoula. And do we need to send people to other cities to attend these conferences?
I agree, no, and that's what I kind of brought that up earlier, is that I personally, and we certainly can discuss this, but I personally feel like the current president should be there representing Megan.
Yeah, the president may be like the closest representative.
And the closest, exactly, and that's why I brought Aaron into it, because that conference is in Great Falls, so. But if it's in Helena, one of you guys, if it's in Missoula, you know, hopefully you can grab Rob or something, or, you know, somebody that's close by, yeah, you're absolutely right. That was my thought. If you guys have other thoughts on that, I don't know, I think that the current president of Mega should be the one that at least should be going around to.
So that would be, that'd probably fall under travel for board. Budget item, so probably filling that out for next year.
So right now, do we have, is it just, we have that travel budget that's set up for just,
It's probably.
Yeah, so we have,
is that just set up for Michelle?
well, we have an admin travel lodging line item, and that's for Michelle's travel and lodging. And so to date, we've used $327 of that, and we have 172 left.
So I think you're right, Jeff. I think that would be an area where we just maybe pick that up.
And
Yeah,
then
actually,
we
no,
have-
right here.
We have board travel too.
Yeah,
Oh,
you could just add a line item, oh, no, lodge, yeah, fall under lodging, yeah.
well, why can't we just use that then?
Well, there's only 52 remaining now.
Oh, and what, and so.
That's usually, that's for the board retreat.
Oh, so we paid for the border fee, so that's what that was. Okay. So, okay. So I think one of those two items, we would probably have to check the price of it. Yeah. Make sure. So make sure you keep a note of that, so we'll discuss that.
So have these opportunities come up in the past?
These conferences, no? Well. I guess
Well,
it-
yes, there was a board a few years ago, that I think Jenny was either vice president or president on, where they did. I think they did the MAP conference. They may have done Marls too, but I'm not positive on that one.
I remember being asked to go to one of the Mars conferences, but then we didn't go or something like happened. I don't know. I remember getting asked about that.
So we have a history as an organization of sending people, paying for people to go to this.
I'm not sure about paying. I think this would be a new realm. I'd have to ask Jenny Conway if that was, or maybe we can look back at previous budgets, but I don't think so. I think they were trying to just look at it geographically and see who was closest, and so obviously the travel expense would be zero. So.
Right. Which would, yeah. And that makes sense. I mean, it does make sense to do it that way. And we certainly don't have to have the president there for these conferences. I just feel that that's an important thing, having the president of our association being there to represent, plus somebody close to. That's just my opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys can discuss it. You think anything otherwise. But I do believe that we need to have this discussion for the budget when we do the budget next year for sure.
Yeah, I think we probably should have these conversations in the couple of months leading to the budget approval in June or July, so. Yeah, something to keep on the radar, but yeah.
I probably will put in for a request for assistance over the February Morals conference.
I was just gonna say, I feel strongly that you should get compensated for your expenses for testifying as well, so. I don't know, maybe this is a separate topic, but you know, I had to pay for a hotel last night.
Yes, I don't know if I need to be in the room for that, or if you guys want to discuss it, I can walk out, or I don't know if we need to do that or not, or whatever.
It should be, it would just be standard, right? I mean, like moving forward for whoever it is, I would think.
Well, I would think so, but we don't have it in the budget. That's why we need that, put it in the budget for sure.
Yeah, well, and your budget, and then if you,
if it's either a separate line item or if it's just an addition to the travel. On legislative years, you'll just have to take an account for legislative support.
Well, not even that. I mean, if we're gonna do this Marls thing, that's a yearly thing. But of course, it depends on who we send it to. I mean, if we agree that the president needs to be there, you know, then yeah, then we'll have to. I mean, it all depends if the president happens to be in that same place. That's true. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna carry that any further conversation wise. I just want to get that out there so everybody has it in their head. We definitely need to continue that conversation for the following budget year. To maybe turn that on or jack up those budget items. So with that, we're gonna go into our little.
You want to jump into reports?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
We can do the request for assistance.
Oh, well, that requested assistance was, that was kind of what I was talking.
Okay. You want to talk about that quickly before we get into the reports?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. You want to click on that link? Okay. So we kind of did have an existing policy that I think several boards haven't really been following lately. And I think we've typically just been doing it as a board vote at the next meeting. Essentially, this kind of does tweak things a little bit. Another thing I would like to put on the form is, because several people don't put it on there, is like the dollar amount. So anything within the $300 would then follow this process, and anything greater than 300 would immediately just go to a board vote.
Is this, you updated this or is this?
Yeah, this is just a revision. This is a draft revision.
Okay.
So I took out some of the language. A lot of this had like the secretary doing all this work.
Right.
I kind of just changed it so like a board member would be doing this work. So it doesn't necessarily just declare the secretary as the liaison handling this request for assistance. But so essentially I want to set up something with probably a forward from our Gmail. So as soon as we get a roof up request form, automatically gets forwarded to all of us right at that very second. But I think a lot of times there's a delay, you know, because either Michelle's checking the emails or one of us, and then usually gets forwarded at that point. I think we'll just make that completely streamlined. And so at that point, I think, so the previous language had it using the board form. I think we just cut that out, just do everything within that, with that email that's forwarded over. So as soon as we receive that email, that creates a 5-day comment period. There's no objections. That thing just gets put through automatically, and then the board member will notify the requestee that the funds have been requested. If any of us have objection to it, it would immediately trigger for it to be voted on by a survey, not at the next board meeting. So we kind of do eliminate that as well. I think that's the piece that previous boards have kind of neglected to follow.
To wait until the next meeting.
Yeah. This process would basically be done, you know, like, so for example, if someone puts a request for assistance the day after a board meeting, it's not being held up until our next board meeting.
Absolutely.
So,
Right. That's important.
and then I think it does cut down on, especially for the GIS day thing. I think the number of surveys that it cuts down on, I think within 5 days. I think most of those would, I mean, none of us had any comments anyway, so there would have been no reason to not use this process. I think a lot of us just had forgotten that this process had existed.
Right.
And then I think this one actually had the $200 amount, but this would basically bring it up to 300. I believe that's what our amended budget a couple of years ago, we had actually moved this up to 300, but I think most requests 300 is not used.
Oh, it's 250. Okay.
Maybe it was 250. But yeah, this could either be 300 or 250.
Good.
I'm fine with 250. This is just a draft. I could lower that to 250.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for working on this. One thing I'd like to see, I don't think we have this currently, but I'd kind of like to see some sort of not really an official report, but just kind of an overview of, so when we do the request for assistance, sometimes it's for a meetup. Like we don't have any information as far as like, you know, how many attended? You know, what was the term? What did you guys, was there?
That's a good point, actually, Nate, can you go to the website, are you logged in? That is actually a user group policy. This is not really a user group, but it could follow some of the same criteria. I think you gotta log in to see it.
It doesn't even really have to be formal, but I'd love to know, like,
Who
was there a
attended?
meetup? How many attended, like, what?
Yeah.
So-
But make that as,
We paid for it, just in general, like.
Yeah, there should be.
turnout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually kept attendance at mine and I think there was 15 of us, 15 or, yeah, I think it was 15 of us. That showed up. But yeah, you're right. It would be good to see some sort of attendance report.
Seems like something you could submit when you're submitting your receipt.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it'd be good to maybe look at streamline, I mean, maybe utilize these Google Forms and, you know, maybe cut out Wolf entirely and just, because then it could trigger a workflow of approval too.
So with those meetups, like, it would be nice to know how they heard about it as well, because that will actually let me know if they're like saw it on the social media or not, because
Yeah.
we did a lot of those posts about those meetups, so that'd be great for me to know as well.
That could be easy as just like when we had the meetup here for the Esri, the brewery downtown, there was a sign up sheet, right? So you just had the sign up.
Yes, go to
Yeah.
board, or no, it's yeah, policies. And then it's the user group meetings, last one. So one of them is an official mega, let's see. Now it's this. I mean, some of these rules I think are not applicable. I mean, I wouldn't imagine that. Are you around attendance in here? For it.
Yeah, attendance meeting minutes shall be taken and submitted to the Magip Board of Directors.
But I would say at least attendance could.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, it's a two paid for it.
Yeah.
No better result.
I will amend that and approve it next month.
Yeah, definitely this, yeah, I'd like to carry this over to next month. Definitely move forward with that.
I just want to get your guys' feedback.
Yep.
And we'll look at it. But yeah, let's proceed to the reports so we can get out of here. Reasonable time.
No, those are, that's,
Thanks for working on that.
thanks for work, yeah, absolutely.
So like yeah, it's the wait a month to make a decision is like necessary.
Can you get that out or to just send that out to everybody or is that on, or just? Is
I
it
can
on
send it
Google
out,
Docs?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I can send it out.
so we can take a look at it.
Yeah, let me make some tweaks.
Oh, you got it right there, yeah.
I literally just added that last night. I added it at like 11 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, cause I don't remember putting that on.
Yeah, it's not on the website.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we'll carry that over to next month and we'll make some decisions on that at that point. All right, let's get the reports, like you said. We kind of went through half of these already, so we'll just, they'll be pretty, some of these will be pretty quick. Nate, got anything else that you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, not much, just work on getting some swag ordered, I guess, in the next week. So we can have that for the Marls conference.
Yeah,
And I need a file with the Montana Secretary of State for the business annual report, which is due April 15th.
is that like our taxes or something?
No, that's just to register that we're an existing business. In the
Oh.
state of Montana. And it's like it's a $20 fee every year. And then, yeah, that is pretty much it.
Cool. Rob, you got anything for scholarships? Are you there, Rob?
Unmute.
There you go.
Do that thing. Okay, great. Yeah, it's that time of year, and I am expecting that by the end of the week, I'll have the announcements updated and distributed. The one thing along with those announcements is the our annual struggle with the education grant. In looking at the announcement for it, I'd like to update that a little bit. It just feels more cumbersome than it needs to be. And also we're starting to recognize that the way that that the education grant was envisioned, it's not, we're having a really hard time making that work in today's educational environment. Basically, teachers have a limited amount of time in their curriculum to infuse it with other things. So it's difficult. It's difficult to incorporate this type of, an opportunity. But there are opportunities outside of the classroom still associated with schools, like the after-school clubs and things like that. And if we actually look back at some of our most successful candidates of the past, we realize that they were actually clubs, like the caving club in Whitefish and things of that nature. So we'd like to kind of streamline the process, the application process, and also make it known that it's available and open to those types of groups. If you all are in agreement with that.
Absolutely. There's
Okay.
a lot of stuff on our website that need to be updated, so that could be one of those things as well.
Okay, all right. Well, we're going to take a crack at that. And then I'm wondering, and I'm glad to see that the conference committee is presenting here shortly. I'm wondering how we intend to handle. So we have two students. We had two scholarship winners last year, and we're going to, we always like to get them to come and present at the conference, and I'm just wondering how we're going to handle that. There's been talk of having a special student track, and then there's also what I think is a better solution is just to integrate them into the session that their talk is most appropriate for. So I just wanted to make sure that if we reach out and ask them to present, that we do have a slot held for them.
Absolutely, Eric, you make sure we have a spot for the students and stuff, right? Or we do now?
For the poster sessions or just for student presentations?
For the student.
Both, really.
Yeah, and last year, Rob, I don't know if you reached out to them, to the winners, maybe it was you, I don't know who, but then we actually did have them submit. I think there was 2 of them or 3 of them, and they did submit through the call for presentation submission.
Yep.
And then they just contacted me because we wanted to make sure that because I think their registration was included.
Yep.
As part of the scholarship. So yeah, they just need to, certainly somebody needs to reach out to them and encourage them to do that. And if they can just submit through the portal like everybody else, we'll make sure to get them in the schedule.
Okay, yeah, and I'm sure we'll communicate along the way. I just wanted to kind of clear the path for that right away. So if you're satisfied, I'm satisfied. If you have questions, feel free to hit me.
All right, thank you, Rob. Anybody got any quick questions for Rob?
Rob, are we still planning on making the announcement for the winners, this year's winners at the conference? Assuming that the stars will align?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we struggle with that every year.
Yeah.
And I think we might as well. It'll shorten the application window a little bit, but you know what? Maybe a little bit of urgency isn't a bad deal. So yes, I say we plan on it.
Yeah, something to consider, because this is going to be one of our odd years for awards. What do we do with the banquet night? Are we going to wrap some of this miscellaneous?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the best. It's the best forum for that type of thing, and I support it. So if you all want to do that, I say, let's make that a point.
Cause I think, I mean, do we have, cause I think we had the votes back for like the poster winners and stuff that Wednesday night too, so. I mean, we just wouldn't be giving our main awards this year, but we could still give our scholarship winner,
Yeah, absolutely. I think we should do that. I think that sort of boosts, I don't know, student interest if you know you're gonna be presented with an award at a conference, not just something that you get an email about a week later or something.
Yeah, and it would be nice to bring up last year's people. The ones that may be presenting this year. Just to bring them up and say, hey, these guys have been doing good work, and here's the next batch.
Oh, yeah, we could bring up the previous years too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be a good time to spotlight our folks pursue the program too.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing will take about 5 minutes, so
Yeah.
I think we can make it work.
Yeah, and I've been chatting a lot with Frank Doer and Eric Sproles at MSU, so I'm hoping there's pretty heavy student involvement
That
this
would
year.
be good because we've had multiple years now with no student presence. It would be nice to.
Yeah, no, Eric, I'm so glad you're doing that because, Frank, I asked Frank to join the committee last year, and Eric was previously on the committee, but just found he couldn't donate the time. But nonetheless, he's aware and hopefully spreading the word. So thanks for maintaining that.
Yeah, because honestly, that's how I got involved in Magip was at MSU. I was exposed to it from Stuart Challenger. He encouraged all of us to submit a poster, submit a presentation, whatever you feel comfortable at. And then obviously the scholarship opportunities too. Different scholarship than what Rob's talking about, but this pays for your, obviously for your registration. And then if it's anywhere outside the 150 miles of your campus, you get compensated. I think it's $150 stipend. So that was a big draw for me because, a lot of us students, we didn't have any money. So, but, got paid to, just to go to a conference, travel to a conference. But I've just kind of been dumbfounded for the last few years. We're hardly filling, we're definitely not filling our full 10. But it'd be good to fill our full 10 again this year, especially since it's in town that a major university that has a GIS program exists.
Is there a
So
lot
thank
of,
you.
is there a lot of turnover in the collegiate university area for GIS? Like MSUB doesn't even have a GIS
They used to.
person anymore. That person has transitioned and they've tried to find somebody to replace it and they haven't been successful. But like Rocky does have an active program in billing. So but I don't know how new that person is and if they're aware.
Well, that would be something that we would.
That
talk to them
was
about.
kind of the MSU's issue last year. Frank was
Yeah.
still kind of getting his feet wet. Even during the colloquium that we judged at, it was very heavily geology and physical science and a little bit of science. There was absolutely no GIS posters, even though there was GIS almost on every poster, which doesn't surprise me. But yeah, Frank Dewar didn't have any of the students working, so. I'm assuming he has more of a plan to change that, because I just remember when I was in first time, I think we probably had almost the entire class at the colloquium. We probably had 4 or 5 at all the conferences. I mean, I was a 3-time scholarship recipient through Magip, so.
Frank is new and Eric's only been there for, I think, a year longer than Frank has, so.
Well, because Eric was his predecessor,
Yordi, more or less, more or less, he's kind of filling slightly more of a spatial analysis role, whereas Yordi was kind of strictly snow science that just leaned into GIS. But they're on top of it, so I think it just took a year or two to kind of get settled, things running, but.
Continue to lean on them. It'd be great. I mean, even as a professional, I'd love to see what the students are doing. Inspiring on both ways, because I'm sure they can be inspired from our work and we can be inspired by their work.
And Frank definitely has a plan. He actually asked about, I know at some point there was like a passport thing or some sort of checklist set up for students where if they went around to sponsors or went to events, or Frank was trying to describe it. I hadn't been to, I guess it was done at one point in the past.
Yeah, I think we did one in Great Falls.
Or it was like a stamp system, it was like a student has a book and then vendors or posters like check off that they were there. So, but
And then did he give them like credit, extra credit?
I think so, yeah. So he's really trying to get the students
Good idea.
involved.
Right.
Yeah, they probably did that. I'm sure they did that at the last conference. I'm sure.
Okay.
Well, let's get back to,
Yeah.
okay, so for the scholarship stuff, the answer is yes, Rob, for everything, and that we will, I think it's a great idea. We all kind of agree that we're gonna make the announcement at the conference, so. Did you have anything else then, Rob?
No, I think that works. It gives me a clear idea of what I need to do, and yeah, if you have continued suggestions or something along the way, just feel free to email me.
Excellent. Thank you, Rob.
Bet.
Yeah, I think our social media plan is going well currently. Been communicating with the board and Alicia to create different graphics and we have legislature occurring currently and create graphics as needed for that. And I'm gonna look into different surveys for getting more stories from our GIS community. And I may have Megan create a, I guess, page on our website for submission form. And I guess Alicia and I will chat about the bookmarks and the
Logos and stuff.
postcard type graphics for handing out at different conferences or at our Big Sky GeoCon. Yeah, just keep me in the loop if you guys need me to do anything more.
I think you're doing plenty and doing a great job.
Thank
To
you.
say the least. So, thank you. You're at a conference.
Well, there's a little update on potential student involvement, some stuff we might be trying to focus on a little bit. Thanks, Jason, for all the work on the workshops as they're filling up and coming together nicely. I did want to, I mean, this is something we'll be talking about in our next few meetings, but a space for the Monday night meetup. We had thrown around some ideas of maybe trying to rent out a small space, so that way we don't swamp a brewery like what happened last year. And Zach Collins is kind of working on that. His brother's owner of a tap house in town, and he's maybe trying to help us out a little bit.
Doesn't Matt Brewery have that upstairs?
Matt does too, yeah.
Yeah, and that would be fairly close to the hotel. I mean, I know it's not walking distance, but at least someone doesn't have to drive clear across town to go to.
Yeah, we have 3 spots we're trying to throw out.
Okay.
I think we're just gonna see which spot gives us sort of the best deal. I think it's been 250 or something.
We'll get a capacity of at least 100.
Yeah.
Like you were saying too. I mean, some of those places that we were talking about had low capacity.
Yeah. Yeah, so Shine has an upstairs with a capacity of like 40 people, but then so upstairs they have their own taps, so they could just serve us up there, but then like we're welcome to overflow into they're down, and they could actually even block off more space, but
How
so
many people did we have at the meetup last year? Did we ever get a head count? There was over 40 of us.
Unexpectedly
Somebody was saying
attended.
that's like 75 or 80.
Oh, really?
It's more than I think he's ever
Least,
been
yeah.
there.
yeah.
So I would think.
Yeah, I would-
space versus-
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, maybe 100 still high. Yeah.
So we're gonna
Well, you
be,
never know, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how popular the workshops are Monday, Tuesday as well, but I would still think a good chunk of folks would be in town and it's like, well,
And the students, again,
Yeah.
students are gonna be there. so-
yeah, it'd be good to have it in a place where, I mean, I did like that imagination, but we clearly were not prepared for the numbers. Well, how much we were gonna overwhelm them.
Like I told the conference committee, like we can advertise it and please register through
the meetup or whatever,
Mhm.
and we had 20 people, 25 people.
That said they were coming, yeah.
It said that they were coming.
Yeah,
And then everyone else decides, which is great, tag-alongs.
yeah.
We can only advertise so much and.
And it was nice until the end. Yeah, I had that squall at the end, but.
So we're hoping to have that nailed down here soon. I think that's, Zach and I are gonna have that by the next planning meeting. And then tomorrow, some of the Bozeman folks and Michelle and I have a meeting for working on the like the poster session, public night deal for Tuesday afternoon, what we want to do with that. And,
Did we, and I know Jeff wanted to talk about this a little later, but we're already running late. The board meeting, did we have that tentatively put, you moved that to the Thursday?
I moved the general member meeting to Thursday.
the board meetings.
We can do whatever we want with that.
Board meeting, we have met on Sunday before and Friday, Sunday and Friday, right?
Yeah, or we can just choose not to meet at all that week and just keep it at our regularly scheduled
Schedule the
time.
next week after that or 2
And then
weeks
just
after
change it to a teleconference instead of.
that. Right, yeah, that might be a good idea. I'll look into that. Yeah.
But
You know that, I've never really.
I really like the meeting. Public, I mean, we should still have that.
Oh, yeah, we still, I mean,
We're moving that to Thursday morning, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, we talked about that.
Yeah.
That's right. I like that.
that's a good idea, yeah.
We should still have that for sure.
Have it down here with all of it up, yeah.
You know, I've never been a huge fan of the Friday board meetings, so I'm glad we moved away from that, but I don't know, like. Should we ever go back? I would say no.
No, I agree.
Just because most of us are either ready to go home or we're just overwhelmed with the conference. There's really no point of summarizing the conference. It's too early at that point, so.
No, I like the public thing, and when we talked about it last meeting, we were saying that maybe the morning session, you know, like everybody's waking up and stuff. If they don't want to get up that early, they can.
Yeah, well, we also could, you know, because there's really nothing in our bylaws say we have to meet every month. We could just choose to not have a formal board meeting in April and then have, you know, because we already have our conference, and then if we have our members meeting, you know, it's just a little awkward to do a little board business at that member meeting. That was a few comments that we got about that event, but
Yeah.
you know, we could just make it all about the members if that's what we
Yeah.
really chose to do.
And how long are we doing that for? 1 hour, I hope, only? I don't want any more than that. I was pushing half hour then.
Oh, we had 2 hours last time, 2 or 3 hours.
Well, that's because we did board stuff to it. though.
No, that was the very fringe of.
Oh,
front
well,
part.
yeah,
I mean, we introduced some like major topics.
right.
Just to get,
But yeah,
but I think an hour it would still cover it if we
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
have any.
no, I agree. Yeah, let me look into that a little bit about our actual meeting and stuff.
Yeah,
I'll-
because then in May, you essentially would be approving the minutes from March, and then you just wouldn't have any minutes to approve from.
Well, I still think we should have it. I mean, if the conference is the first week of April, our meeting won't be 2 weeks till 2 weeks.
Yeah,
later.
you could, yeah. the
We can
regular-
do
the
that.
regular
We can have
time.
a regular, sum up the meeting, sum up the conference at that time too.
But have it as a phone.
Yeah, it would be in person.
so really quick with that member meeting, is that board initiated or is that conference? I can't remember if that, like who's responsible, like do we have? We should have some sort of agenda, I'm assuming with that.
Yes.
It's kind of the place of a summit, but it's more of a member.
Just introducing the board and maybe just maybe reading off what we did in the past year kind of thing and,
Okay,
Maybe,
I guess I just wanted to bring up, we should probably have some sort of an agenda.
yeah,
What we did for the one last year.
Sure, yeah, it was like an intro.
Because we did like the membership fee one, we did I think we did like the jobs and the resume.
Yeah,
We
so
talked
I
about the communications position, so it'd be a good time to maybe
review.
how that's going.
Yeah.
are you, Alicia, gonna be at the conference?
I'm not gonna be able to be in the conference, my kid's spring break, so I don't have childcare. But I will be working remotely, so I can just send me, I'll get it up,
She can, I can still post. Can send her stuff.
everything, yeah.
I guess more of a reminder that we should have.
Yeah, absolutely. Just don't go in there winging it.
Yeah.
No problem.
And then
I
one
got
other
that.
thing with that, historically, just for budgeting purposes. Last year, I think, one night or something was comp for the board. If we wanted it, do we know what's happening there?
Well, that was a surprise to me last year, so I was pleasantly surprised, but I didn't know, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, okay, so.
That's based on the hotel contract.
Okay.
So, last year and also our contract for this year, I think it's the same. You get one.
No, we're talking about something different.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so, okay, so it was a few years ago, I think the board had made the decision, okay, we can essentially utilize, all of us utilize this free because it was free registration, wasn't for free night, right? Yeah, it was free registration. So we all could utilize this, or it could just be on a needs basis. So then this year, so the last few years, it's just been on a needs basis, but I think for like 1 or 2 years, the whole board would use it. And it's just,
That's not what he's talking about.
well,
You're talking about the free lodging.
Yeah, because we got a free room, I got a free room.
That would,
You didn't get, I don't know why I didn't. Is
so
it just
it was,
residents?
well, no, it's because we were comped one complimentary room for 40 rooms that were booked. The hotel, so we had about 4 or 5 free room nights that needed to be used.
oh,
And so,
because we could typically use that on Michelle for most years.
yeah,
Since she
That-
lived in Missouri.
Done that
No place to really put it, so.
yeah.
That's why I made the decision to kind of spread it amongst the executives.
Okay,
Or we've used it for speakers. So we didn't want to waste those comp room nights.
right,
So yeah, so we allocated them to
yeah.
president, vice president.
Yeah, so instead of me taking all of them, I think I just was like one night, so one night.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But historically, as board members, and again, I can't remember, but do we, as far as registration, do we?
You have that option, yes, because I think it was you and Aaron that utilized it.
And Rob,
Rob did too? Okay. so
As far
Rob.
as what?
it's if you need it, like if.
On needs basis.
Yeah, paying the registration is gonna prohibit you from coming to the conference. Like if you're not able to come because you can't, then we would want you to use a complimentary registration, but if you're able to pay for it, then I think the expectation was that you paid for it.
Yeah, see, my employer is gonna pay for it regardless, so I chose to not expend Magip with that. So it's kind of just a personal choice and kind of what you want to expend on your employer or not.
Does anyone know how many hotel rooms have been booked so far?
I can find
Do we have it advertised?
Yeah.
Yes, it opened in like December. Early
Yeah.
December.
Yeah, Michelle, would you say we had already
Yeah, how much is that?
the ground level room?
Yeah.
Well, I booked mine at $99. That was under state rate for Bozeman.
Did you book it in the,
Oh.
did you book it in the room?
I used the Big Sky Geocon code.
And they gave you a $99 room rate?
Yeah, so.
So I'm gonna check on that, but.
Yeah, I don't know if that's right. But, I
Well,
got-
that's a
I got-
standard state rate, is 98 plus
Is that the
tax.
government rate?
Not for Bozeman.
Not, but it's not for Bozeman, but it is like the standard, and so I'm surprised they gave that to you.
99, I thought it was 91.
150. I thought it was supposed to be 120.
It's 155.
Nice.
One
It's deal.
fifty-five for Bozeman.
It's 155 for Bozeman, which is.
For the
correct.
government rate?
Yeah,
Holy.
So,
so I'm gonna find, ask.
yeah,
If a hotel does go to that 150, I could see that being a huge problem for some of our organizations.
Absolutely.
Bring a lot of folks.
That's the
Yes.
government prevailing rate in Bozeman.
I thought the state.
That's why
I didn't realize-
they're thinking about doing an Airbnb.
So
That's
I
an
will
idea.
check, I won't say your name, so they won't change it, but I'll say, somebody got a room, and I'll find out about it.
Okay.
And I'll also find out how many rooms have been booked. Remember, we were pretty conservative, we didn't want to get burned again, so we.
Anybody booked?
Well, that's the thing.
Oh,
We could.
I got a futon if anyone needs it.
You better call
All
me.
it's changed.
Government rate there?
Yeah, there you
If she
go.
calls, oh, that shouldn't be, they're gonna make the change.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give him your
I
name.
got it on my receipt though.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, good for you, it's like.
Well, might still be active, we just don't.
I doubt you'd be able to.
Yeah, the rate in our contract is 155,
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
or 151, 151. 151 plus tax. Yeah. And that is that is the government per diem rate in the Gallatin.
Well, so it's probably important, to probably get other hotels in line too, and see if we can get a few that offer the standard government rate. Cause I know there was a couple of them that would allow for the.
We got some courtesy blocks, yeah, we certainly don't want to contract with them.
No, but at least getting some numbers.
Yeah.
Of, hey, you go over to the Comfort Inn and get, cause I think the Comfort Inn's pretty close, it's right there at Walmart.
There's one right next to
Yeah.
it too, isn't there, like a Days Inn or
Yeah, there's a
something?
Days Inn, so there's a lot of hotels in that North part.
But we need to fill our block.
Yep.
Well, yeah,
I'm not too concerned about that, to be honest with you, but you're right. All right, let's, did you have anything else for the conference?
No, that was it.
But like Eric said, we do have 2 platinum sponsors and they both did take us up on the added benefit of the ground level room,
oh, yeah, the vendor side
the atrium.
right around the pool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pool side. What kind of pool?
Good for them. Jason, will you give us an update on the workshop?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much full. I've been working with Eric and Michelle to just confirm, available workshop rooms. We might be able to split an existing room into 2, because we might have some additional workshop opportunities. John Ogland, we're still waiting to confirm the 2 that he wants to, 2 of 4 that he wants to instruct. And then I'm struggling to connect with David Howes, but he's another one that has committed to Python classes as well. So yeah, we're completely full. I have an email typed up ready to be sent to all instructors to obtain abstracts and bios. And was planning to do that here this afternoon. The workshop page has been created on the Magip site. It's hidden right now. Everything's ready to go, with the exception of the abstracts and bios. So
Nice.
I'll work with Mike and Alicia for upcoming workshop.
Graphics.
So your workshops are full with David House in there? Was he allotted 2 or 1?
David House was allotted 2 full day workshops.
He's doing Python.
He's doing Python. I think he does that as well, but offered wanting to do the Python classes.
And Jason, on the abstracts and bios and Megan, maybe like when you put that on the, I feel like I remember something from last year, like when you build that put that on the webpage. If they can send them in like a Word document, so I feel like there were some PDFs that we had to read.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, if they could send them like in a Word document, so it's easy to
Copy
copy and
paste
paste in.
and create the anchors, yeah, I'll make sure that I have that. And I have Pro, so I can always convert it to, or Adobe, whatever.
So you could convert it, okay.
Stuff, but, yeah, so I'm really pleased with where we're at right now, just needing that confirmation, conversation with David House and then been coordinating with them as far as fees as well, and Eric Templer's fees are pretty much the same as last year. And then, as everyone probably knows, we increased our fees for $80. So if he wants to charge $199, we'll increase it to $80 more, so that we get a little bit of.
Is David's gonna be kind of comparable to Eric's?
I can't confirm that, but that's expected. So yeah, we're.
And then I guess, was he just wanting a guaranteed amount, or was he wanting, he was just gonna take whatever he can get from that registration amount? His premium or his payout?
Yeah, from what I understand, it's the exact same as Eric. So he'll tell me what the price is, and then we'll just increase it by $80 or $160, depending on if you remember. So.
That's wise, because then it's kind of on him to promote it, and the more successful he can promote it, the more money he's gonna get back, so.
Good.
Good. That's it.
Excellent. That's great.
And then we're not gonna need another room, right?
So at this point, we don't need another room. If we need another room, yeah, we have the Madison room, which is scheduled for MLAC, and we'll be able to at least hold 1 or 2 workshops in there Monday, all day Monday and Tuesday.
But in terms of having to go outside the conference, we haven't had that conversation.
We
I don't
had
think-
and we don't think that we need to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to prevent that, but we have census as well that has historically, held a couple workshops and Jim just cannot confirm if he's able to attend this.
Okay, so you might have some room. some
Yeah, so a
wiggle room.
little, yeah.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
But, and then Eric Pimpler has offered another half day class as well, because he's only doing a day and a half. So we'll see. I need to hear back from Jim.
Right.
Because he's always been really supportive.
Budget.
Yep. So,
Well, it sounds like you're on top.
yeah, we're,
Yeah, one thing we won't have to deal with in Billings, they got plenty of workshops.
I don't think so.
yeah, so we have five rooms that are filled right now.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Megan, you got any updates?
No, just mainly focused on the conference, and so as we're getting vendors rolling in and get those logos, and then we'll have to get the keynote photo and a bio from Cam. You know,
Okay.
but yeah, so
On
this all
that,
kind of
on that
happened.
same note, though, we probably should get a new logo from. What's on there, that the old state library logo is still on.
They,
the front.
they just, registered as a platinum sponsor, and I think they uploaded the new logo.
Oh, yes, we just grabbed our logo.
Because yeah, when they come in to register, they can just upload it right there.
Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah.
We'll have access to the logo, just haven't updated this.
Perfect, yeah, because it was in the back of my mind when we were doing the whole rebranding thing, the date, I was like, okay, we gotta switch out make.
I'll just send myself a message. I can send Cole. Appreciate you being at the meeting.
That will come later.
Okay, yeah.
As you know, have that legislative. session will be big, big staff.
Yeah.
Is that linked to the main page yet?
It is not anywhere on the main page, but we can definitely get that. And we can talk about where we want it, if you just want like a link from the board, maybe the main board page where the agenda is, and things like that.
Well, because like right out front there where we have those kind of the
Yeah, I thought we were
there.
We can definitely put it on the main.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah.
Well, and I think if we create a little runner thing of it too.
That's, yeah, that was,
That's the scrolling thing.
yeah, the scrolling thing, but
Then we have a new,
Do you
page.
want just the graphic that Alicia created for the bill on there, or do you want one that's a general?
I would like a more
Legible
general.
section.
Yeah,
We'll work on
just send me an email, yeah.
And then we should have a separate page, not on the front. I mean, I like. to
we'll link off the front, link off the front.
Link off the
Yeah.
front to the, yeah, something. like
Yeah, because we're gonna have at least 4 bills to put
that.
on.
Right. Yeah.
Some of them just have LC numbers, but we can at least
Right.
point it towards the LC.
As long, yeah, I mean, our whole point is to get the knowledge out there to everybody. Hey, take a look at this, so they know or informed. Eric Spangenberg, you there? You got any amnesiac updates?
Guys, we have to.
I'm here.
Bye,
I
Eric.
lost track of which window I had everything on.
Mike, I'll connect with you on the membership.
Yes, please do. Thank you.
I sent you guys the poster.
Sorry to interrupt that.
Did you have anything that you want? Hang on a second, Eric. Did you have anything?
No, I'm done, man. You had your chance.
Just that I'll be working on exporting doing all that membership renewal stuff, like getting everybody out, putting them back in.
Okay, good.
So you know, I'll let you know how
Thanks
that
for
goes.
coming, Alicia.
Yeah.
Drive safe.
All right. I was kind of hoping Erin would stick around and she could give the report.
That's what we have you for, Eric.
No, I don't have, everything that she had to say was probably what I was going to say is that, the MLEAC, we're just kind of, I think from that viewpoint, well, we haven't had a meeting. Our next meeting, I don't even know when our next meeting is, guys.
April.
I believe
Yeah, I think our next meeting is until the conference. So, because I was looking at earlier this morning, I started looking at all the agendas and I was like, I don't have an MLEAC meeting on my calendar until the 4th. So
from what Erin had informed me of, she mentioned that,
The grant stuff is out.
yeah, that's the case, but if something comes up with that legislation bills or something, that there's a possibility you might have a special meeting.
Yeah, and that, if that happens, then yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I don't have any travel plans, thank goodness. So, yeah, if something comes up, I'll be ready to sit in on whatever they need to have done. So along those lines, but yeah, our meeting isn't until at the conference, 1 o'clock. It looks like they have it scheduled for 1 p.m. At the Grand Tree. I don't think they have a room yet, but looks like it's Tuesday, April 4th. Yeah. So.
Yep.
And that was the other thing I was going to mention is that they're putting out the grant information. I think you got early sign up to learn how to run their application and all that kind of fun stuff. So.
Yeah, their training is next week, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay, anything else?
No, I'm pretty boring. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Well, Michelle just took off, but we pretty much have talked about everything that Michelle will be doing and stuff.
And then I don't think we reached out to Tommy to get a SIG update, but we can certainly get a SIG update from him next month.
Yes, yeah, yes, I will reach out to Tommy for that, for sure, for the next meeting. All right, does anybody have anything else?
One reminder that Jeff's meeting is next week.
That's right. I was just gonna give a SIG update on that.
SIG update, go ahead, Jeff.
So the LiDAR SIG, you should have seen a couple emails go out, one through the listserv, one through the website last week. Mike, I'd like to get with you and see if we can get some stuff with Alicia going on with the social media.
Oh, yeah, we voted a little bit. I've already got a request to join the Google group from Steve Barrio from City Council.
Oh, wow, fantastic.
Yeah, so I'll add him.
So, yep, thank you to Jeff, Mike and Megan. The SIG website is up on the or web page is up on the website. Yeah, please come if you're interested in LiDAR and spread the word.
Yeah, as soon as you get a formal agenda, I can help you walk through that process of adding and we can.
You know, that'd be
Well,
great.
we kind of did that, but yeah.
Yeah, if he has any questions about it. So. But yeah, you basically kind of change that wording of available soon.
Yeah,
It's just easy to do it right from there, but then you gotta select the appropriate folder that for
oh, yeah.
That's the one
Yeah,
thing I noticed with your agenda with this one.
Yep.
It's just in the root folder. It needs to go to the agenda folder. So when I link to the agenda in like the archives, I'll move that folder, move your agenda into the appropriate folder. That's one thing I did.
Well, I do the board folder. It says board meetings. Is
Yeah,
there- so there's another one in there that says.
No, I think you went out to I'd have to show you, but it's out on the wrong page.
Oh, sorry.
So, yeah, just know that when you're going in there, selecting the right folder. I mean, I think we probably should.
I'm trying this.
Yeah, certainly this summer could help, Megan. I think there's gonna be a few of us that are gonna need to help with this website review, but I think there's quite a bit of overhaul.
What is hold on.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And our content management is a disaster. It has been compounding over the years.
Okay.
I was gonna mention that, been going to, well, me and my cohort, figure probably been attending some of the LiDAR stuff like Keith Weaver. Have you seen his stuff?
No.
Yeah, the free workshops that he puts out.
Free workshops, I know you'd be a potential.
Yes.
Connect with maybe on a
Thank you.
session.
Yeah, he's with Idaho State University. They have a
Really practical guidelines. He's got one of the best tutorials. He's very super accommodating. He works through a lot of issues better than. That's why I usually avoid online stuff because it usually it's convoluted and I get behind. I bag it with his stuff. So good.
Good. That's great. Thank you, Aaron. So Keith Weaver, huh?
Idaho State University.
yeah, and maybe he would actually be a good topic speaker.
Yeah, exactly.
If you have a specific agenda you want to tackle.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm gonna throw a motion out to end this meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a lot of seconds.
We all want to get out of here.
All right, I think we all approve that we're ending this meeting. Anybody oppose it? No? Okay, we're ending this meeting. Thank you, everybody. I think it was a good meeting.
Joe.
All right.
See you, Rob.
Hey, guys, what